Your morning just got more interesting. Distilled and barrel-picked for your listening pleasure. Bo Bishop, a local sports media legend. What William T. Sherman was to the Union Army, he is to Northern College football. A husband, a father, and middling youth sports coach. He's friends with Central Ohio sporting royalty.
I'm talking to Ohio State Athletic Director Ross Bjorken. Coach Day walking on with us right now. Good to see you, buddy. Good buddy Austin Ward. My good buddy Tim May, the Tim May Show. The great Doug Lavery's joining us.
Hi, everybody. Dom Tiberi here.
Oh, Reese came in and he handed me papers.
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that button? That's the only button you need to worry about. Don't touch. There's 8,000 buttons in front of me." Oh, I didn't know what he was talking about.
The one that says on.
We blew the budget on this imaging, and only two guys answered our ad on Craigslist. Ryan Baker and Eric Reeser. Act accordingly. You're now listening to Bishop and Friends.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next 9:30. You'll hear from both rookie quarterbacks up in Cleveland as they vie for the job of starting quarterback up there. It was who didn't take snaps that should got a little bit of attention on that side of things. 10 o'clock, what are the best jobs in the Big Ten? Urban Meyer weighed in on one of them. We will get to that, and you will hear from him. Jake Trotter going to join us at 10:30. It is a Hey Guys First Friday. Get your questions into the fellas at 971BFS or on the YouTube chat, and we will answer those coming up at 11 o'clock. The U.S. Open starts tomorrow in what looks to be a diabolical Oakmont. Dave Shedloski will join us coming up at 11:30 to give us a little preview from over in Oakmont as that gets sets to kick off tomorrow. Did I hear you right? College Game Day, last one for Corso here in town, huh?
Yep, August 30th.
I didn't have that. I did not have that. I thought it would be close, and I'm guessing that it very much was. My hunch was that they would let Corso do it one last time at his alma mater. Florida State plays Alabama in that opener the first weekend. It's a game that's on ESPN, and so it just felt like kind of a layup to have them do that one. Certainly the first time he ever put on a mascot head was here, and we know that very, very well. It was all the way back in 1996. Think about that, how long he's been putting stuffed animal mascot heads on his head. That goes all the way back to 1996, which is just absolutely wild. It began here, of course, because Herbie's wife, Allison, was a cheerleader. There is a great video of it that they put out paying homage to all of the headgear picks through the years. This is probably about 4 or 5 years ago. And it's remarkable what it's become. And I'm going to tell you, fellas, it's timeless. It's timeless. When on a football Saturday, my kids are glued to the picks. They are glued to a now 90-year-old man putting a mascot head on his head. I've been in 100 press boxes over the years where College Game Day is broadcasting, and everybody in the press box goes, well, who did he pick? What did he do? What head? Think about how nonsensical this is. This is an old man putting a mascot head on his head, and it's become an institution on probably the most successful scene-setting show in the history of scene-setting shows. And it's an institution, and it's going to happen for the last time. It's appropriate that it happens here. I think a really good job, a very good job out of ESPN on this. This game is not on their air, as we know. This is a noon kick on Fox, and it's the best game. But I've always said, whatever you say about ESPN, you got to give College Game Day a lot of credit. They go to the best game every week. They don't go to the one that's on their air. There is no scenario where Fox would take Big Noon Kickoff to Tuscaloosa to preview a game that's not Big Noon. In fact, I think they've only done it once, and it was Colorado State in the first year with Deion. I think that's the only time Big Noon went to a location that was not on their air. I'm pretty sure that's it. They do this all the time. And so they did the right thing for the sport. It's going to be amazing. I'm curious, do you retire this thing forever after this, or do you just have McAfee do it?
No, you probably retire it, and then you see if something else can come organically in terms of a pick segment, because that's how this just came to be organically. Nobody ever thought that, hey, going into this, I forget who Ohio State was playing that day, but you go into it not thinking that, okay, when we're done with the picks, then Lee, you're going to put on that Brutus mascot head. I think all of it just came about where it's like, oh, let's throw this on because wouldn't that be fun? I think something similar would have to happen. I'm not sure you even need to make it a pomp and circumstance pick at the end. I think you just do the picks and maybe something else you can create that fans can look forward to. There's nothing like it. There will never be anything like it.
No.
For my money, College Game Day is the best sports program ever made.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think it's right there. I mean, you Mount Rushmore it, and it's one of them for sure. It did happen organically. The crazy thing is without it, the pick segment is quite honestly nonsensical. Bake, they don't even use the lines. Like, they don't use
just straight
put
up.
the lines up. It's just straight up picks. Like, arbitrarily, we're picking like Ohio State, Purdue, and you're going, well, what are you picking that for?
Half of them can't even pick because they're probably calling the game.
That's right.
I don't think you try to force that on someone else. That is what it was. Corso's leaving. I think that has to go. And I think you've kind of already got your thing with McAfee just doing his heel gimmick, right? Like the time he stood up at the SEC championship and riled up the Georgia fans and had them going, and then he went with Alabama. You know, I think you already have it in what McAfee does anyway. I think that can be your pick. You don't need the headgear. And
they're lucky they stumbled into him, because if you don't and he's not there, then I don't know who winds it up. Because you have to have that. You're doing two things if you're hosting that. If you're on that show, you're doing two things. You're doing a television show, but you're also creating environment. You're doing both, and you have to serve both in order for the show to work. Because if the thousands that are there are not engaged, then it's a really flat situation. So them stumbling into McAfee and having him go to, I want to say it was a South Dakota State, North Dakota State game was the first one he went to. The idea that happened and it's all worked out, and now it feels like he's the most important person there because of what he provides.
Did they stumble into him, or did McAfee just force his hand on all of this?
I think it was
right?
Herbie. I think Herbie's like, we got to try this. If memory serves, I think Herbie was like, we got it. Let's give this a shot. And I think McAfee's given Herbstreit a shot. I think it's popped him. I mean, he's just a one-man energy tornado.
I think with the money that ESPN was providing for the Pat McAfee show, I think they said, well, let's see where else we can throw him, throw it to the wall.
This was before.
But I think they were in talks at least.
Could be, yeah, but he was
doing it before his show was on ESPN.
Yeah.
But I think they just wanted to see where he would work, and him being such a college football, I mean, that's kind of his passion. I think they just threw him at the wall and it stuck. I mean, it does feel like ESPN does that a lot with their talent. Like, we'll just throw him in a couple things and see what works out. And this just worked out organically. And I do think because of his relationship with Herbstreit, how much chemistry they had on the set, it was certainly more than David Pollock had with anybody. And I think that told ESPN producers, like, oh, we got something here.
You have to. This is the challenge, and it's for anybody who creates content. It's for what we do. It's for you do sports television. You're on Snap or TikTok or wherever you're doing your content. It can't all just be X's and O's. It can't all just be, this is what I think's going to happen. We're entertainers, kids. I mean, that's what content is. And so Pollock could break down a game, but where's the entertainment coming from? And that's what McAfee provides. And now he's critical to all of it because in the last 4 or 5 years, obviously Corso started to fade after the stroke, and he's a 90-year-old man, for crying out loud. I mean, it's long past. He's picked Ohio State the most. 45 times he has put on the Buckeye headgear through the years. Ohio State, this is pretty remarkable. Ohio State is 45-21, so 66 times they have been on College Game Day as the host, and 19-6 when hosting the pregame show. It's just a remarkable thing. It's remarkable that there's that many road games that they were at as well. So what am I supposed to do with this Reds Guardians? Are the Reds are real and the Guardians are frauds? Is that what I need to? Is that my big note here?
World Series champs, Bo.
I think that'd be a fair assertion. Guardians feel very fraudulent right now.
I think the thing that probably is worse here for Guardians fans, too, is that it's been two former Guardians that have had a big hand in this. Obviously, Terry Francona is the manager of the Reds now, and Will Benson, who is like a maybe not even AAA, a 4A player. Like, he's too good for AAA, but just hasn't been able to get it to stick in the major leagues, is a former Guardian as well. So
I'll tell you what I look at when you're where we are, which is like 66, 68 games into the Major League Baseball season. Look at run differential, and then like how your squad is. The Reds are plus 42 in runs scored. The Guardians through 66 games are minus 23. So that usually doesn't travel. I mean, that's your amateur baseball take of the morning, kids, for someone who used to watch every game all the time and chart box scores. But if you got negative run differential, that's a pretty tough thing 66 games in to dig your way out of. 5-0. 5-0 against the Gardos. What a job out of you.
It's been a long time.
Just flexing, aren't you?
Reese and the Guards have been whipping our behinds for a decade now. So it's been a while coming. I think that's why it feels so sweet for the Reds fans.
You're just looking up at that Eric the Red poster from Costa Brothers on the wall. Just
Magnum 44.
Bring it back, baby. Magnum 44.
So
bring
good.
it all back. Who gets hurt? Nobody gets hurt. Reese is burning his Roger Dorn jerseys. I mean, that's where we are. So that's going well in Cincinnati. Minicamp not going particularly well, and a surreal scene down in Cincinnati with their first-round pick. It is absolutely nuts that it's come to this point. Just nuts. We'll get to all of that. We're off and running on a First Friday. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Did you want information on the Ohio Lottery's Easy Play games? Okay. Easy Play games have everything needed to play printed on the ticket, so you never wait for a drawing. And with Easy Play Progressive games, they can instantly win the game's jackpot, which oftentimes grow and grow to over $1 million. All lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want another commercial? Okay.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
The biggest thriller this summer is blockbuster savings at Coughlin Chevrolet. Lease a new 2025 Chevy Trax for $159 a month. A new 2026 Chevy Equinox, only $259 a month. Or a new 2025 Silverado, lease for $359 a month. This month only at Coughlin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
36-month lease with $39.99 due at signing, plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details. N63025.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here, and I remember the first time I understood that old saying about giving a man a fish. It made so much sense, and I see examples of it all the time. Take the new weight loss meds, for instance. Think about this. You take a shot, you eat less, and you lose weight. But the second you stop, the weight comes back. You never actually changed anything besides eating less of the same bad things. I wasn't interested in renting my results. I wanted to own them. That's why I chose Awaken 180. I needed a lifestyle change, I knew it, and I was excited about it. A medication-free path to long-term weight loss. That's exactly what I got. It's been 1.5 years since I dropped my 50 pounds, and I've kept it all off. Awaken 180 taught me how to adjust my approach to food. A real-time education on how to keep it off while losing the weight. I say, learn how to fish. It's easy, it's fast. And for the long-term bonus, no medications. Do what I did and choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com, 844-346-1800.
Talking about guns might not always feel comfortable, but it could save a life. Asking safety questions before a play date, like do you have pets, a pool, are there any unlocked guns in the home, can help keep kids safe. Learn more at agreetoagree.org. Brought to you by Ohio Health and the Ad Council.
Hello, big voice guy here. I've been hired to tell you all about the Fan's YouTube channel. Did you know you can immerse yourself in Buckeye goodness like Austin and Burb's daily podcast, The Beat? Yes, sirree, Bob. Subscribe today.
No one knows better than a mom what's right for our kids. But with so many apps and devices, protecting them feels harder than ever. My name is Emily. My husband and I have 3 kids and we live in Strongsville. Ohio needs to act and put parents back in charge by passing a common sense law to require app stores to get parental approval before children download apps.
By requiring parental consent and age verification in the App Store, parents will have a simple, secure, and reliable way to choose what's best for their own kids. That's why Ohio's Fraternal Order of Police and the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation both support this common sense approach.
With one clear place to approve the apps they use, Ohio can put parents back in charge.
Tell your state legislators to pass the App Store Accountability Act now. Learn more at owlr.org. Paid for by Ohio Women Lead Right.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Make sure you have plenty of water as well as sunscreen in your bag as you head out the door today. We will have sunshine all day with afternoon highs in the mid to low 80s. Down into the 60s tonight with mostly clear skies, and then another day of sunshine and heat as we get temperatures up right around 90 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
Catch the latest from the world of Ohio State athletics. Weeknights at 6 on the Buckeye Show. New special guests in everything scarlet and gray. The Fan. Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
From our perspective, nearly 2 hours north of 71, it feels like if you were the Cincinnati Bengals, you'd be all in to win right now. You've paid Joe Burrow. You paid Jamar Chase. You paid T. Higgins. We understand that because in doing that, you're going to have to just outscore people, and you cannot invest on the defensive side the way that you have. And we've seen this before with some of the guys that they've let walk. We saw it this week with some of the things they've done with the roster. But at the same time, your best foot needs to be put forward because you are smack dab in the prime of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. And the last thing that I would think that you would want to be if you're the Cincinnati Bengals is the 1980s Miami Dolphins, which got to a Super Bowl early with Marino and the 2 marks. I want to say year 2 for Marino. They got to the Super Bowl. And then got bombed by the 49ers. Now, the Bengals didn't get bombed by the Rams. They had the ball in their hand to have a chance to go win it. Quite honestly, most of us thought they were going to go win it with Burrow in that game. But the Dolphins never got back. And quite honestly, never got that close to being back. I don't know if in the rest of Marino's career, there was one blip later when Jimmy Johnson came in where I think they kind of talked themselves into maybe trying to be something of significance, but I don't know if anybody really bought it. So that's the cautionary tale. Like, don't waste an all-time talent. And you've already lost some of Joe's time there because of injuries, which are no fault of your own. But right now, you should be all in to go win. And the Trey Hendrickson thing is looming. On that one, he's under contract. I understand him wanting more money, but at the same time, you know what you signed and you know what you collectively bargained. So would another organization get out in front of it before it got to this point, i.e. the Eagles and quite frankly the Browns? Yeah, it would have. It would not get to this point in Philadelphia where Trey Hendrickson would be doing this. But at the same time, like, you can see an argument that from their perspective of this is the contract and we're not going to pay you Myles Garrett money at this point in your career. So That part, at least, you can wrap a head around. What's going on with Shamar Stewart is something else entirely. This is the first-round pick. He's the 17th pick in the draft. He's a defensive end. They desperately need him to be good and be on the field in the worst possible way, especially juxtaposed to this Trey Hendrickson situation. You have to have some playmakers on that side of the ball. This is a first-round pick. He's not participating in mandatory minicamp. He's not doing so because he's not under contract. Now, some of the other ways you could do this is you sign a waiver and then you go participate. By all accounts, this comes down to the way that the Bengals want to structure his money, his guaranteed money, and his signing bonus, and what they want to guarantee in it. Because these contracts are all slotted now in the NFL for rookies. It's known. There's no negotiating to it. This isn't the old days where it was the Chargers and, quite honestly, sometimes the Bengals who would try to, come in under what the typical asking price is. It's slotted. Write the check. Let's go. All of that to say, this is a team that should be trying to contend for the Super Bowl next year based on what they've done this offseason, but this continues to be a distraction. Don't take my word for it. This is Joe Burrow. I don't know if you heard of him. Here's him on the Trey Hendrickson situation and the distraction.
Of course. Last year we had 2. This year we have 1, so we do have less. You'd love to have none, but, that's life in the NFL. We're all supporting Trey and would love for him to be back.
Yeah, so there's Burrow on that. Shamar Stewart is something else entirely. Guys, the one that I want to play is the one where he talks about Trey being a little bit right, but me being 100% right. Here's Shamar Stewart.
We all agree Trey will be right? But technically he's still 1% wrong for being under contract. So in my case, I'm 100% right, so it should be a no-brainer. And in Trey's case, I think it should be a no-brainer too. I mean, he led 17.5 sacks for 2 years back-to-back. If I was the GM or I was the owner, take all my money. But I guess they don't operate like that. But
well, Shamar, there's a pie.
Guys, how has it gotten this sour with a guy you drafted a little over a month ago?
I kind of agree with Stewart, though, because the Bengals the Bengals are trying to do something that's pretty grease. It's kind of gross trying to void future guarantees. Mm-hmm. Like that seems kind of slimy, and I can understand from Stewart's perspective of you guarantee it, man. Like this is I want similar language to other rookie deals around the league and other rookie deals that you've given in recent years. Don't try to set the precedent with me, man. I'm not here for that, and I can't blame him.
No, look at who was drafted at 16 and look what that contract was. Look at who was drafted at 18 and what that contract was, and then apply the middle to me. The end. How does it get... This is a guy who's been in the organization for what? 6 weeks? And it's that bitter? How's that even possible? I mean, rookies in the NFL, it's sunshines and roses, boys. It's rainbows and butterflies. You're in the league. Let's go. And we got this type of bitterness in Cincinnati? Nuts.
It is not what you want.
No.
When you have, it's not what you want ever, but it's not what you want when you have a quarterback that is a top 3 in the game, a wide receiver that is a top 2 at his position in the game, and you're a team that has to get out of the blocks fast. You've not been doing that at all, and you have to do that. You can't get behind the 8 ball in this division with the Ravens and the Steelers, who now have some certainty, at least for this year, at the quarterback position. This is the furthest thing from what the Bengals need right now.
I just don't know how... Guys, I've never heard a rookie in the slotted system speak so negatively and brazenly about ownership and management. We're 6 weeks in. Where does this, how do you create this type of bitterness between an organization and a guy that you drafted in the first round? You draft somebody in the first round this time of year, they're talking to corporate partners. They're signing autographs for every kid. They're selling jerseys. They're meeting every single. They're in line for autographs to meet fans. First-round pick this time of year, it's pure joy. There is nothing to negotiate. There are no reasons for feelings to be hurt. There certainly should not be this type of bitterness. I mean, it's impossible for this to be the case. And it is a distraction. It's a distraction. And beyond the distraction, because that's a mental thing, there's a physical component to this. To Baker's point, they missed the playoffs last year because they lost at home in the opener to New England. That's it. Win that game, they're in the postseason. You think anyone would have wanted to play them? I'm pretty sure they won their last 5 games last year. You think anyone would have wanted to deal with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase?
It's the hottest team in football going into the playoffs.
But they didn't make it because they didn't start fast. And now you draft a guy 17 overall, and there's this type of acrimony. It's just nonsense.
Feel like our pick for the Browns to win the season opener is looking better and better, Bo.
Little Kenny Pickett, baby. Just set it up. Get that run game
Small
going.
hands, low score, baby.
Well, I was with you till you said Kenny Pickett.
Myles Garrett and Mason Graham coming around. You got Mason Graham working on a little edge work, boys. Little get up the field, little edge work. So we'll see. You'll see how all that shakes out. But no, it's big picture. It's just a complete fail to do this. And this should have been an offseason that was celebrated. They paid them all. They kept Higgins. They paid Jamar. They've already paid Joe. And instead, you get Trey Hendrickson showing up at OTAs and having an impromptu press conference. And now you got your first-round pick who plays the same position and eventually probably is future planning for Trey Hendrickson when he retires or leaves. And you got him saying, it ain't right. And I'm right 100%, and I know it. Not good. It's not good mojo at all. The Browns 4 quarterback derby continues. You'll hear from the 2 rookies and a pretty decent little development yesterday in terms of who took reps and who did not in the 4 quarterback derby. That's up in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on the Fan.
Every great team has its core players, but when the season gets tough, adding the right free agent can make all the difference. The same goes for business. At Robert Half, we found that 67% of companies surveyed plan to increase their use of contract talent to handle workload peaks and backlogged projects. With Robert Half's specialized recruiters' experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can quickly find the skilled candidates you want. At Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
All power, zero compromise. Eagle cordless outdoor power equipment features advanced lithium battery technology that exceeds the power and performance of gas without the noise, fuss, or fumes. From mowers and trimmers to blowers and pressure washers, one battery powers over 90 tools. No wonder it's the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Power beyond belief. Visit egopowerplus.com to learn more or to find an Ego retailer near you. That's egopowerplus.com.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included. Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Don't sweat it. Call Care Heating and Cooling and we'll fix your air conditioner fast. 1-800-COOLING.
Wake up and cash. It's Top Picks on Morning Juice. Powered by WeWinUwin.com. Professional sports bettor Chad Patrick. Dropping plays and juicing up your Friday mornings with fresh pick winners. WeWinUwin.com. Built by winners for winners. Stop guessing and start cashing.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. For all your roofing, gutter, or siding needs, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, here's what's up on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Browns mandatory minicamp underway yesterday. It'll continue today and then conclude on Thursday with a kind of a shorter session on Thursday, but another full session today. One of the things that if you've been listening here regularly kind of came to fruition in terms of the amount of reps that were given to the 4 quarterbacks. Let's start by saying I cannot recall at any level of football that I've been around in or a team that I've covered where it is a true 4 quarterback competition. Even in the college level, it's usually 3. at most. You almost never see a 4, but that's what you have here is a legitimate 4. Now, as I've said many, many times, and I think it was backed up yesterday with what we saw in their first workout, Kenny Pickett is going to be given every opportunity to win this job and is the leader to do so. And what Kenny Pickett is being asked to do is to run the full complement of the offense. That's what he's being asked to do. Joe Flacco can run the full complement of the offense. He knows it. Probably could do it in his sleep. He could, quite honestly, hop off the couch and throw the most beautiful deep ball you'll ever see in your life. But it's a 40-year-old man, and Joe Flacco is, in my opinion, the break glass, if all goes to hell option. That's what he is. He's not the leading option. He's these other guys didn't take to the bit, and so let's go with Flacco and let's be respectable with him and try to sort this thing out. And it didn't work with the young guys early on. Okay, fine. So that, I think, is how they view Flacco. The other 2 rookies that are involved in this thing, I think they view differently. Obviously, they picked Gabriel ahead of Sanders, so that tells you a little bit about how they view the 2 of them. Both have had moments. Dylan Gabriel is being asked to do, and he was asked to do in OTAs, and he was asked, I think he's being asked again in mandatory minicamp, to basically run the full complement of the Cleveland Browns offense. So he runs with the ones. He's been running with the runs sometimes at OTAs, along with Pickett, and OTAs with Flacco as well. And he's being fed a lot. Shedeur Sanders is on kind of a different path. And Mary Kay Cabot at Cleveland.com wrote a story about this on Monday. And the Shedeur Sanders play is a much, much longer play. That for him, they're kind of spoon feeding to get him going because of what he was asked to do in college is so dramatically different than what Gabriel was asked to do in college and what Pickett's does as a guy who started 25 games in the league. So yesterday, when you saw the rep snap counts of Sanders, Gabriel, Pickett, and Flacco, for some, and I do think there's an incredible disconnect on this, for some it was probably shocking that Joe Flacco did not get a single rep. Maybe that was surprising to some people. It was not particularly surprising to me because we've been talking about this for a long time. And I think most people assume that this is a Flacco is the starter and maybe Shedeur can come in there and win it. The reality is any one of these 4 guys could do it, but they're going to have to go earn it. But the other part of that reality is Pickett and Gabriel, they're trying to see if one of those guys can go. I mean, I think that's what you can deduce from what's happened at OTAs and what's happened in mandatory minicamp. So Dylan Gabriel and Kenny Pickett are treated almost similar. Pickett more of a head up in the fact that he's the one that I think ideally he's the one that starts. And Gabriel's kind of nipping at his heels a little bit. Joe Flacco break glass, and then Shedeur Sanders more of a longer play. So that's where it goes. Now, one thing was notable yesterday. Shedeur did get reps with some guys you know. He got reps with some receivers that you're familiar with, some tight ends you're familiar with. So he even got a couple of reps, I want to say, with the ones. So he's coming, and he makes a great throw. But yesterday there was a throw that was made that kind of went viral a little bit. But it was a throw on with a bunch of guys you don't know. So that's kind of the real truth on what's happening here. And if you've been listening to what we've been saying here on this show, you probably were prepared for Joe Flacco not getting any reps. You should have been, because I hope we laid the groundwork for that, that's the way that was going to go. Let's hear from the 2 young guys. Actually, let's start with Stefanski and the dynamic of the room. Here's a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski, on the room.
Yeah, I've told you guys before, and this is the truth, and it's true today even. I thought the discussion that occurs in the quarterback room is outstanding. It's fun. It's high-level discussion. It's new for the 2 young guys, but to hear the experiences of Joe, Kenny, Deshaun, I think it's an impressive thing for those young guys to absorb. And there's a lot of different stories that we hear of the guys, and we have different reps from their careers that they can talk through, but all of that is just invaluable for a young quarterback.
You forget Deshaun's there, too. He's in those rooms.
Did you see it as a bachelor party for himself over the weekend?
No, I did not.
Pretty exciting. Good for him.
There you go. No, I missed it. The 2 rookies then, and quite honestly, Pickett and Flacco, they're all in this boat in terms of this battle for reps. Let's start with Shedeur. Here's Shedeur Sanders on how he's managing the limited number of reps he's receiving.
I'm managing it real well. Yeah, overall, it's a mentality. It's mental. It's a lot of people in certain situations in their own life, that may not be at the forefront, that maybe had that at one point in time, but you got to know it's going to be bright days eventually whenever the time comes. So you just always got to be prepared, and you got to mentally take it as just an experience, for anything in life, you got to go through different things so you can understand the message that, God's trying to give you. So that's why everything I'm way more grateful for, just to come out here, to be able to throw the ball around and just be able to get on the field. Like, everything off the field, it is what it is, but everybody know when it's time to get on that grass, then you know who I am.
He's come so far. He's been great. I mean, everybody up there, universally, everything that he's doing are the right things. That same thing could be said for Dillon Gabriel in terms of doing all of the right things. Here is Gabriel on how he's measuring success so far with the Cleveland Browns.
You love to stay process-driven. I think for a lot of people, it's a results-based business, so let's not get that wrong, but you have to have a process behind it to be able to create consistent results. And, I think whether it's a microwave mentality or, that Amazon lifestyle of wanting it right away, sometimes it's just not the case. So being able to have a process, stick to it, continue to listen to your coaches, and try to get better that way. That's what I want to do. I want to build a solid foundation so that, you're banking on the process and then allowing that to have, consistent results.
You ever heard that before, Amazon lifestyle?
No.
It makes a lot of sense, though.
Yeah. I always say, like, on-demand lifestyle. It's the first time I heard Amazon lifestyle. As soon as he says it, you know exactly what it means. And I think that'll be the challenge for the fan base. And I think it's really critical for Kevin Stefanski especially to communicate very clearly. And I know he doesn't like making headlines when he talks, and I get that. Totally. But at the same point, I think they need to be very transparent with folks about how this is all going, because there's not a whole lot of precedent for this, for what they're trying to do with 4 quarterbacks. And I told you guys, I think it's possible to keep 4 on the roster, at least for the first month of the season. I think that's very much in play, is that they will. So I think that part, that there's a little disconnect, I think, between what the fans think is going on and what is actually going on in Cleveland with those 4 quarterbacks.
Well, the Browns love being trailblazers and setting new precedents, so this certainly falls in line with that. But the idea that you would draft 2 rookies, or you draft 2 quarterbacks, I don't think anybody had until after the draft. They're like, oh, they drafted 2 quarterbacks, and now they've got 4. And while you would like to think that there's enough reps for everybody, that there's not. And Joe Flacco's had enough reps. Kenny Pickett's had a bunch of reps. It's this time of the year, these 2 guys need as many as you can give them. And then you kind of, it would make sense to just slow walk Pickett once you get to training camp. I don't even know what the purpose of him doing reps in this would be comparative to Gabriel or Shedeur. Dillon sounds like a professional. Shedeur sounds like every motivational Instagram video you've ever seen in your life. And the idea that the Browns took these 2 guys makes the most sense to me, that this would be where they want to give them the most work.
So this is the only correction I would make to your statement. I think they view Pickett as the same possible future option as Shedeur and Gabriel.
Oh.
They don't view him any different. He's 26, Gabriel's 25. So I don't think they view Pickett. I think they view all 3 of them as, hey, maybe there's a potential quarterback here long term. That's the reality.
Yeah, that would be different.
But that's what's happening, is that. So that's the thing I think the biggest disconnect when I talk to Browns fans is the Pickett disconnect. I think there's a pretty big, in terms of the way they view it and the way that the fan base views it.
And I'm guessing, Bo, that's because a lot of fans are like me, and we've kind of seen Kenny Pickett on the field in the past, played against him, and we don't really like what we see. We think we've seen enough. So I'm guessing that's what it is. Most fans have just dismissed Kenny Pickett because of what they've seen on the field already.
Yeah, and I think their answer to that would be the same was probably true when Minnesota was having to play Sam Darnold. That Minnesota fans are like, wait, what? We're not going to go get anybody? And they're like, no, we're good. We think Sam can go. And then Sam went. And they won, 14 games? Not saying that that's in the cards for the Browns because there's a little bit different in terms of the talent that's dispersed around the roster. But at the same time, I think that's the way they view him or the potential of him. Now, the one thing that would be tricky is, let's say that Pickett plays great. They couldn't pay him the Darnold salary. So that's kind of the one thing on the other side of it. Like, if he's really good and he does resuscitate his career, that would lead to a bigger question down the road. But I think that's that's an accurate portrayal of what's going on there. And I think Gabriel and Sanders both really had nice days yesterday. Pickett had nice days too. And the reality is they just don't need to see Joe do much of anything because they know exactly what he is and who he is. In Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers showed up. He broke news. He appears to be all in, and I'm wondering if some Steelers fans are coming around. We'll get to all of that, and you'll hear from Rodgers coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Big Voice Guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
This Father's Day, give the gift of power, performance, and durability with Master Force tools from Menards. From quick fixes to heavy repairs, our Master Force industrial-grade mechanics hand tools are designed for maximum strength and durability to get the job done right. Save big on the Master Force 220-piece mechanics tool set now through June 15th. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy, America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks. Trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Matty Ice here. When I needed a new Chevy, I headed to McDaniel GM Superstore in Marion. Right now, get up to $12,000 off MSRP on a 25 Silverado LD. They've got no market adjustments, no hidden costs, and sales managers are on the floor ready to help. That's been the McDaniel difference since 1916. They're just a short drive north off Route 23 in Marion, or you can visit McDanielGMSuperstore.com. McDaniel GM Superstore, where great deals meet a century of trust. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
Are you ready for 971 The Race? It all goes down Saturday, June 21st.
Presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
T-Bone, Reeser, Tybus, and Common Man request your presence. 971therace.com. Do it.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, HIMS can help. Through HIMS.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form.
Get started at hims.com/joy. And from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Connect with the show on X at 971BFS. Jump in our YouTube chat or just send a raven. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
It was the most Aaron Rodgers press conference ever. It was everything you'd want it to be. Maybe not want it to be. He did divulge that he's now married. So there's that. I was, not that I need to be aware, or not that I'm keeping tabs. I was under no understanding that he was in a situation. I mean, and normally, and maybe historically, when he's in a situation, maybe just because it's famous women that he's been in relationships with, because he was with Olivia Munn, Danica Patrick, Shailene Woodley, right? Like two actresses, and then Danica Patrick in the last 5 or 6 years, and so you saw him out and about. So he's a married man now. So there you go. Maybe that's what he was doing with his time, and that was announced yesterday as well. So
that whole exchange was so weird.
Wasn't that crazy?
Like the reporter asked, like, "Hey, you got a ring on your finger?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a wedding ring." Oh, so when did this happen? About 2 months ago.
Jeez. Yeah, it's something. It's an experience.
He was at the Kentucky Derby and at one of those red carpet events where everyone's taking pictures in front of like a sponsored tarp. He had a ring, and there was like, is he married? Does that mean he's married, or does that mean he's engaged or something like that?
Sure.
And then they confirmed it yesterday, and he's the weirdest dude.
Different dude, man. Beat of his own drummer for sure. He did ask why he decided to sign in Pittsburgh. Here's Rodgers' answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. Like, I don't need it for my ego. I don't need it to keep playing. A lot of decisions that I've made over my career in life, from strictly the ego, even if they turn out well, are always unfulfilling. But the decisions made from the soul are usually pretty fulfilling. So this was a decision that was best for my soul. And I felt like being here with Coach T and the guys I got here, and the opportunity here was the best for me, and I'm excited to be here.
Real truth?
Yeah. I think there's excitement to be back with a football team or back with an NFL organization. I think there's excitement that he's the unquestioned quarterback one. Like they've pretty much just handed him the keys to the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he likes that. There's a ton of attention on Aaron Rodgers. I think he likes that. I think that excites him a great deal. So I don't have...
I think it's also... I think the Mike Tomlin part of it, and in this press conference, he mentioned Tomlin a lot. And I said in the months leading up to this, where I was so adamant he was going to be a Steeler and that it had been preordained and prearranged, was a large part of it was based on Tomlin. And I think he has a lot of genuine affection for Tomlin and the way Tomlin goes about his business. Tomlin's the ultimate player's coach. And so I think that Rodgers saw that from afar and said, that feels like something I'd like to be a part of. And I also think it probably is a little bit like old home week. I think probably the most apples to apples Green Bay to an AFC situation is probably Buffalo. But Pittsburgh's not far off. It's not. It has a very similar feel to it. There are a handful of franchises in the NFL that kind of have that feel of almost like an NFL Sunday feels like a college football Saturday. Like this is what we do. And then it's juxtaposed with all the winning. I mean, that's all Pittsburgh does is win. They've won all of our whole lives is win, or most of all of our whole lives is win. And so I think all of those things were attractive. Do I think it was his number one choice? No, I don't. I think his number one choice was Minnesota. And I think probably once that, and I've said this, once that became not an option, then I think he was resigned to this. But do I think that he's all in? Yes. Do I think it's very easy to talk yourself into playing quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Yes. Do I think if you're a Steelers fan, you can wake up and you go, okay, we got Rodgers, we got DK Metcalf, we've got Caleb Johnson we just drafted, we got good tight ends, we got decent depth in the receiver room, and we got an elite defense. Once they get TJ Watt to come back and they'll get a contract done for him, we got an elite defense. Like, let's go win the division. I think if you're a Steelers fan, you can talk yourself into that pretty easily.
Yeah, for sure. The Steelers were 10-7 last year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, DK Metcalf coming in. I know you lose Pickens, but DK Metcalf is definitely a big-time player. I really love Caleb Johnson.
Me too.
I was big on the Browns getting him, if they could, in the 3rd or 4th round of the draft. Obviously, they drafted Quinshawn, so that made that pick unnecessary. But I think Caleb Johnson is a big-time player. I'm with you, Bo. I think when he says, like, coming back and playing is good for his soul, I think that's true. I don't think he'd be out there if he didn't want to be out there and part of a team, but I don't think Pittsburgh was his initial number one.
Well, and I forgot Rams too, guys. Remember that? I think probably Rams and Vikings were, because once the deal got done with Stafford to stay in L.A., that's when they pivoted. And by the way, I think the Steelers, and I believe the reporting this week that the Steelers really were very interested in Stafford. Very much so. I believe that 100%. So that was it. And then once that happens, then maybe you pivot, and the reporting was that they tried to reconvince Justin Fields, and that didn't work. This is almost like it's a little bit of an arranged marriage, but it's an arranged marriage where you look at who's walking down the aisle and you go, okay, I can make this work. And I think that's a two-way street for both of them. I think it works for both ends. And I think I thought he had some really glowing things to say about Will Howard, which I thought was cool. And that's good for Will. So I'm happy for Will on that front. And I do think if you look at whatever you want to say about him, obviously what he's done on the field speaks for itself. But it appears that he was a pretty decent dude to Jordan Love. And he definitely didn't have to be, because that pick, I think, really started to turn him on the Packers because, quite honestly, he wanted more weapons to throw the ball to, and they took a quarterback who wasn't going to play right away. But I've heard nothing from Jordan Love to lead me to believe that Rodgers was a bad dude to him. And that was a guy who they, quite honestly, drafted to replace him. So I think he'll do good by Will Howard here, and I was encouraged to hear what he had to say about Will.
Yeah, for mostly his career, it's just been exemplary teammate, weird guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you still see players to this day talk glowingly about him, especially guys that played with him in Green Bay. It's still wild how little the Packers gave him in terms of talent. Like when you needed a wide receiver in drafts, they're like, nah, we'll do quarterback. Oh, maybe a defensive end. Like, wait a minute, no weapons, guys. Looks like the Steelers could have that. There was talk that they were trying to get, was it Drake, or was it Drake London, or a player, who's the wide receiver from Atlanta that they were making phone calls on?
London's there. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're calling on everybody. There was talk they called on Olave. There was talk that they would call on McLaurin. There was talk that they were in on Jonnu Smith. Yeah, so I think, they're in kind of a 1 year, let's go for it situation. Like, the defense is good to go. Like, let's give it a go. And then, quite honestly, it would be so Steelers luck if you get 1 year of Rodgers and then Will Howard's ready to go next year. I mean, that's just what they do. And so that could set up something else, because it sounds like Will's had a really good month over there so far. Urban Meyer had some thoughts on a job in the Big Ten and what is adequate and what is acceptable. We will have that for you. And we're going to rank all 18 jobs in the Big Ten. Which ones are the best? Which ones are the worst? And who's in the middle? We'll get to it all here in the second hour. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Get Eco.
ECO. Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something.
Does it solve a problem?
It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step one is to pay Eco to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get Eco to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO. What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying Eco to fix your AC system is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on eggs. Right now, 18-count cartons of large grade A Kroger brand eggs are just $3.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
He opens his toolbox before he opens his wallet and believes you can fix anything with 20 minutes and some pride. He's Mr. DIY. And when he needs metal, he goes to metal supermarkets. Artists, hobbyists, machine shops, maintenance professionals, and welders all count on metal supermarkets for over 8,000 metal products, shapes, and grades. If it's metal, they've got it or can get it for you. Cut to any size and ready fast. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place. Leslie, what's that hot lamp against your window for?
Pella windows are tested up to 160 degrees Wilson to ensure efficiency and the lowest energy bills possible, even in the craziest of temperatures. Put your hand on there.
All right. God, that's hot.
On the window, Wilson.
Oh, hey, that is quite nice and cool. So I'm going to go grab some ice now.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rated #1 for innovation at PellaColumbus.com.
Jeremy Foltz, CEO and co-founder of 3C Technology Solutions, speaks about working with First Bank of Central Ohio.
I think FBCO had a really nice personal touch. Transition was really easy and much cleaner than I thought it would be. Some very specific things that made me very excited to work with them are availability and creativity.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. T&Cs apply.
Go beyond your field of study and get a world-class education and leadership. As an Army officer, you'll work side by side with peers who support your growth, and you'll become a role model, mentor, and decision maker in any environment, at any scale. It's a challenging path, but along the way, you'll sharpen your skills and show yourself and those around you exactly what you're capable of. Decide to lead at goarmy.com/officer.
The Ohio State University ROTC has scholarships available. Learn more at arotc.osu.edu.
Summer's here, and seasonal businesses are hiring everything from hiking guides to surf instructors and more. Whether you're hiring for one of these roles or any other role, you need ZipRecruiter to find qualified candidates fast. ZipRecruiter's smart technology gets to work as soon as you post a job, diving in to find great matches and showing you top picks right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/USL to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139. Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Reds look to break out the brooms for the series and the season. Today in Cleveland at 1:10. Cincinnati's won 5 straight over the Guardians and taken possession of the Ohio Cup for the first time since 2014. Guardians look to avoid the sweep. They'll send Logan Allen to the mound opposite Nick Lodolo for the Redlegs. You can hear that game over on ESPN Columbus with coverage at 12:40. In basketball, the Pacers host the Thunder tonight at 8:30 in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The series is tied at a game apiece. You can hear that one on the Fan following the Buckeyes show. Indiana's going to host Game 4 on Friday. The Knicks are looking for a new head coach. 3 teams have already denied requests to interview their head coach. And ESPN's College Game Day will be in Columbus August 30th for Ohio State and Texas. This update's brought to you by Germain Toyota, the best selection of new and used cars in Central Ohio. View their full selection of vehicles online at germaintoyota.net. Breaking sports news when it happens on the Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a First Friday. Get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971BFS on the X platform. Also in the YouTube chat. We'll track those down and address them coming up at 11 o'clock. Urban, I tell you what, he's such a breath of fresh air when he got to Florida. He was a breath of fresh air when he got here, because the thing about Urban is you ask him a question, you're going to get an answer. He doesn't know any other way. That's why he's so damn good at television, honestly. He's probably... Of the folks on the pregame shows that are currently on there, he's my favorite, and not just because he was so great here, but because he just tells it like it is. Like, you just get the honesty on it. So he was on The Herd with Colin Cowherd, and of course, Colin, despite being someone who grew up in Washington, is a devout USC fan. This goes back years, all the way back to the Pete Carroll time. Always admired that job, and has some questions for Urban about the current state of the USC job and Lincoln Riley's spot in it, and asked him exactly what he thought of the job Riley's doing and what should be the expectations at USC. So here is Urban on The Herd.
The way I've always looked at USC is I equate them to Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, and Florida. I've always looked at USC as one of the top 5 jobs in America. So I've got a lot of respect for Lincoln Riley, and I promised myself I would never call for jobs because I'm not going to do that. However, when 7-8 wins is acceptable at USC, that's when I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think you take a 5-hour net and drop it on USC, and you see the best players in the country. So I think this is the year they're recruiting. Here's a question I have about USC. They have the number 1 recruiting class in the country right now. Should they have that every year? I mean, yeah. USC is USC, and I think they're going to have a great year, and I think we're not after this conversation. But 8-5, go 8-5 at Ohio State and see what happens.
Go well. It's what happens around here. Is USC a top 5 job anymore? You asked that question. I'll tell you this. I remember having this conversation with John Cooper 15 years ago in advance, and Earl was in the room as well when we were talking about this. And we were talking about the best jobs in college football, and he absolutely had USC on that list. He had Ohio State, he had Texas, he had Alabama, and he had USC. Urban had a similar list there. Urban added Florida. I think I understand how you could put Florida in that conversation, but I think Florida is also... At the University of Florida, you are fighting a war on every front in recruiting. It's just on every front, you're being bombed and having to deal with people invading your territory. It's just such a competitive job. And I think Georgia is actually the better job than Florida. I think it's the better job now. I think maybe there was a time when it was Florida. But most people put USC in that spot. Here's the thing that's tricky about USC, and I'm not going to disagree with Urban because there's no win in that for me. I don't know if USC is that, though, anymore, because outside of Pete Carroll, there really isn't much. I think in my lifetime, USC has been largely middling. Really, the only time that they were elite is under Pete. That was it. They had that glory run under Pete where they were at the top of the sport and as good as any program, quite honestly, that's ever been, and as much talent as there's ever been. But there's a bunch of factors that led to that, too, and led to their rise. Obviously, Pete's energy was infectious, and his recruiting was off the charts. But the other thing that was going on there was no other football in Los Angeles. There weren't the Rams. There weren't the Chargers. The Dodgers, this was Frank McCourt ownership. So this isn't, we're going to go get Shohei Ohtani. Like, this is clown show Dodgers ownership stuff. Hell, the Angels won a World Series during this time. People forget about that, but they did. The Lakers, you still have Shaq and Kobe, and so, but that's dwindles by kind of the middle of Pete's run, where Shaq goes to Miami, and then the Lakers fall off a cliff. There was a stretch when Leinart and Bush were there that they answered only to the Lakers in terms of Los Angeles popularity. I mean, they had Will Ferrell at their games, and their quarterbacks were dating Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian. I mean, like, Reggie Bush dated Kim Kardashian at USC while he played there. I mean, this was a level of fame that it's hard to wrap your head around now, what those guys were. And it does make you think, like, was it Pete Carroll, or is that job still good? Is it as good as people perceive it is? Because you drive by the campus, and as Urban says, you go a 500-mile circle around, or a 5-hour circle around USC, and you go, you can just recruit all of this and you should be fine. But it really hasn't happened. And that's why I always push back on the Florida job. Is Florida a good job, or did they just hire Urban Meyer and Steve Spurrier? Because when those two guys aren't there, it's not much.
Yes, to the Florida question. I think the hire had a lot to do with it. And I do think with USC, it's a similar spot. Despite, I have them 5th in the Big Ten. So I can't say that's a top 5 job in the country. I think it's a top five job in the conference. Sure, because you got Los Angeles. You have the most fertile, if not one of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the country. You should be able to do better. They just missed on several hires after all of the hires after Pete.
So it's probably not a top 5 job in the country right now, but I still think it's one of the better jobs in the country. Like, you talk about Florida, you could be talking about anywhere, right? Like, Alabama made bad hires, and Alabama took a dip.
Yes.
Georgia was gone for a while. Mm-hmm. It's one of the things that makes what Ohio State has done so impressive is they've never really had that dip with any of the coaches since Woody Hayes was hired under Earl Bruce to Coop, Tress, and now through to Ryan. Like, they haven't had that bad hire, so you haven't had that huge dip. I think all of these programs are subject to that. Texas went off the map for a minute. I guess not off the map, but they dropped off in their level of play. I think USC with the right guy, and a lot of people thought Lincoln Riley was the right guy. I think with the right guy who can avoid distractions and get through everything out there, I think they would be right back in the top of everything.
Do you know how many 10-win seasons USC had from 1980 to 2001?
All of them.
One.
None of them.
One 10-win season in 1988. From 1980 to 2001, they won one. Then Pete shows up. Year one, he goes 6-6. Then he goes 11-2, 12-1, 13-0, 12-1, 11-2, 11-2, 12-1. His last season, they go 9-4. So his last season is 2009 is his last year. Then it's Kiffin, 8-5, 10-2, 7-6, 10-4. Sarkisian comes in, 9-4, 8-6, 10-3, 11-3. And then it's Clay Helton, and now Lincoln Riley went 11-3, 8-5, 7-6. Sometimes you are what your record says you are. And if the Pete Carroll stretch, that's, to me, feels like the aberration. I mean, we go back to 1980. It feels, are the resources there? If you do this game, if you say, if Urban were hired there, could they win a national championship? The answer to that is yes. And so that's why I didn't do it 1 through 18, but I kind of put them in groups. And I had USC right where you did, Reese. They were the 5th team I wrote down. 5th best job in the Big Ten. That's not top 5 job in the country. I bet it was the 5th best job in the Big Ten. And I think that's, and by the way, Urban Meyer could win a national championship at all of the programs that were ranked ahead of it. And it's almost like a mark of demarcation. Everything below it, I don't think even with Urban they could at his best. But the top 5, I think he could at any of them, and he did it here. So that's the thing about USC is it, from the outside looking in, it looks like this big, shiny, cool thing, but there are obviously a lot of things in their infrastructure that makes it very difficult to win there. And they are not Oregon. They're not. The Ducks passed them. The Ducks are far more organized. The Ducks have won with all sorts of coaches. That leads me to believe that Oregon is a much better job than USC. They've had all sorts of people. Bellotti, Chip, Helfrich. Now Lanning. Kind of doesn't matter who's the coach at Oregon. You win 10 games in your sleep. They're playing the same schedule that USC's playing. They passed them. After Pete, they passed them. And the crazy thing about all of this is when the Big Ten expanded, they were still in the idea of what expansion was about 15 years ago, which was cable buy, and they were so worried about the LA market and getting USC. Oregon's the better football program. And I think right now, for kids, Oregon's the better brand. There's a University of Miami feel to USC to me, where like it should check every box, but for some reason they can't get all the way back to that glory. Cristobal feels like he's making headway at Miami, but it feels like there's a ceiling on it. That they're never going to get back to what they were under, if you go all the way back to Schnellenberger, to Jimmy Johnson, to Dennis Erickson, Butch Davis. It just doesn't feel like that. And I think that's kind of where USC is as well. We're going to rank the Big Ten jobs, best to worst. I kind of put them into groups, but it can easily be 1 through 18, although I think we're splitting hairs on some of these programs. I have different categories for all of them. We'll have a little fun with that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Tweet from a listener. Are you carrying the Buckeye game today? Considering we've never not carried one, yes. The answer is yes. The Fan.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman. From sold-out stadiums under Friday night lights to more than 100,000 screaming fans on the banks of the Olentangy. America's football capital is right here in Ohio. But the greatest football players and coaches of all time live up the road in Canton at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And a trip there should be on every football fan's list. Go to 971thefan.com/goldjacket and enter to win a VIP experience to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ignite the passion. Relive the glory.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up. Going up. But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button. Going down. We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Morning Juice is live on YouTube. Weekday morning starting at 6 or on demand whenever you want it. Yeah, whenever. Bobby Carpenter's at your beck and call. And Tito's there too, to clean the toilets. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding. Over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Make sure you have plenty of water as well as sunscreen in your bag as you head out the door today. We will have sunshine all day with afternoon highs in the mid to low 80s. Down into the 60s tonight with mostly clear skies, and then another day of sunshine and heat as we get temperatures up right around 90 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
All the Ohio State conversation you can handle. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
Your Ohio State flagship station. The Fan. After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
Indeed it is. We're proudly sponsored, brought to you by great friends at Diamond Cellar, your true jeweler for over 78 years. Should we have a little college? You got a little college football traveling music for this? Should we have a little? Oh,
I got Big Ten music, brother.
Nothing says Big Ten like that. That'll do it. What did you guys write down as the worst job in the Big Ten?
Rutgers.
I actually put Purdue.
I went Purdue, too. I had Purdue 18. I think that their success was a flash in the pan where they had an identity to throw it when nobody else was throwing it. I think trying to get kids to go to West Lafayette is just brutal. Now, I have Rutgers 17. So
Purdue 17, yeah.
It's not much difference. I think those are the two worst jobs in the league. But I do think there's a little more talent around Piscataway. And I do think, Rutgers is only a Schiano job. I think he's the only one who could ever have any success there.
He's their Highlander.
He is, and I think he's like the best he's ever going to do is 7-6, 7-5, 8-5. That's as good as it's going to get, and they're doing cartwheels over it. But those two are in the bottom to me. And do you have anybody else that's kind of in that category?
I feel like Northwestern's down there pretty far, too.
I don't know, man. You see what that stadium's going to look like, what their football facility is? I wanted to put Northwestern kind of in that lower third tier. Yeah. But with the money they've put into the football program, I kind of have them elevated into the top. I mean, they're a top 10 Big Ten program for me because of that.
I don't have them quite that high. So I have the bottom as Rutgers and Purdue and Rutgers as the two worst jobs. Then the next group, you did it kind of in thirds. It doesn't really matter. I kind of categorize this as it has to be perfect. And even with it perfect, the ceiling is pretty limited. In the old days, in the two split divisions, maybe you could play for the Big Ten. That's all over. So, the best you can hope for with it's perfect is, hey, let's be bowl eligible. So I had in this group, I had Indiana at 16. It's a really hard job. I think what Cignetti did last year was kind of the perfect storm. He brought a bunch of guys with him from his previous stop. I don't think it's duplicable at all. I think they benefited from a soft schedule. Full marks and full respect for what they did, but I think Indiana's a really tough job. I got Minnesota 15. Then I have Illinois and Northwestern. I think what Bielema is doing at Illinois is he's the only guy who could do that. And they're kind of set up for some success. So I have those grouped. Where are you guys as you go 16 to 13?
So I have a lot of that as well. I've also got UCLA
They're tricky. It's a tricky job. I'm with it's.
I'd say
I have
they're
them coming
15th.
quickly, but I don't know. Here's the challenges at UCLA for if you've not been out there. They play in an iconic stadium, but it's a hike from their campus. It's a brutal place to get into academically, and their football. They've thrown some money at football, but their NIL doesn't seem to be quite locked in on that, and their athletic department is usually broke. So that's usually part of that. But I do still see UCLA and those colors and the Rose Bowl, and you think with the right guy, can they sell it? They have landed big-time recruits. Like Josh Rosen was a huge recruit. They've landed those guys before. Heck, they landed the kid, who's at Oregon now. Chip landed him. So, they've landed number one quarterback stuff at UCLA, and that's why I have them a little bit higher. Bake, who do you have in this 16 through 13 range?
So I have Indiana, Minnesota, and maybe this is a little low, but I've got Nebraska down there that far.
Oh, that's way
too.
lower than I do, yeah. Okay.
I kept putting Nebraska in different tiers, but Maryland and Nebraska did a lot of flipping when I was doing this exercise. But I brought Nebraska, up to where I have Northwestern because of that fan base, because of the sellouts. Because if you can get the right coach, you've got everything you could possibly ask for if you do it correctly.
The thing that's so hard about Nebraska, I'll never forget going out there first time Ohio State played there, and Pelini was the coach. And he said, I got to get in a plane every time I recruit.
And that's
hard.
it for me. There's not a lot of talent around there.
No, it's tough. But for the reasons Reese had, I have it a little bit higher. So the next group, I only have 3 in this next group. So this is 12 through 10 for me. So I kind of called this, there is a very hard ceiling. You can win, but you're never breaking through. I don't see you ever playing in a BCS, an old school BCS bowl game again. I think that's kind of cooked. And so in this group, I have Maryland, UCLA, and Iowa. I think once Ferentz goes at Iowa, I think it's going to be really tough. I think they have an identity with him, and I love that they're satisfied with what they get with him, but I think there's a very hard ceiling on Iowa. And when Ferentz retires, I think it's going to be a very difficult job.
Yeah, I wonder. I'm with you there for Iowa right now because of who they have and the stability that he's provided. But once that happens, I do see something like a Michigan fall off to where you don't really think about Iowa after Kirk Ferentz is done.
Yeah.
But I also, Michigan State.
So I have them 9.
I have them just outside my top 10 too because I think the money's there.
It is.
And so I think if you can land the higher, you can kind of be on not the same level as Ohio State and Michigan, but you can recruit the same and you can get those 2-3 stars and kind of be like what D'Antonio was, where you can be a Foley every 5 or 6 years.
Well, they even landed 5-star guys there. They've recruited those guys there. Who's the big defensive end that they beat the Buckeyes on? It's been 10 years ago now, but I mean, they've done that. I had Michigan State 9. So it's funny you say that, you phrase that the way you phrased it, Reese. So I have this group of 4 teams as with the right guy, but it's got to be the right guy. And so in this group, I have Michigan State at 9, Wisconsin at 8. I think Wisconsin is a much tougher job now than it was 15 years ago. And I think with the non-divisional stuff, it's going to be a struggle there. And I think Luke is in a really hard spot. So I have Wisconsin 8, then I have Nebraska at 7, and then Washington at 6. So I go Michigan State, Wisconsin, Washington, Nebraska, then Washington at 6 is kind of my 6 through 9. Who do you guys have kind of in that group?
I have the Huskies at 6 as well.
6, yeah.
I've got Illinois there.
You've been to Champaign, right?
I just can't imagine Illinois with even with the right coach.
Sorry, Fish.
See, I kind of feel like they do have the right coach right now. I love Bielema there. I think they're going to have a really good year this year. Yeah. I just think, I know it's not right there in Chicago, but I feel like they do have a proximity to talent, and the right guy could recruit it up. I've got Washington, Michigan State, Wisconsin in here as well.
Okay, so you have Illinois better job than Washington, Wisconsin, and Michigan State, or no?
Just below those.
Just
three.
below.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not far off. in this group, I don't think any of these programs will ever win a national championship in my life. Washington's come the closest. They played for it with Penix. So they were right there. That's why I think they're just on. The next is the elite group. And then within this group, I kind of have a separate grouping within the elite. Washington is the one. They have a lot of money. We saw that in the basketball portal. Proximity to talent's pretty good. Great stadium. Cool history, great uniforms, all of that stuff, and that's why I have them at 6. The next are my Cadillac jobs. But within those Cadillac jobs, there's 3. Actually, I think there are 3 like Escalade jobs, if you want to stick with the Cadillac analogy. And for me, it's Ohio State, Michigan, and Oregon. I think those are the 3. Just roll them off the assembly line at General Motors, and away you go. And then I think Penn State and USC are just below those 3.
Yeah, it's exactly the way I've got it as well.
So you got it, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon.
I have it, my top 3, I'll just do now, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan.
You have Oregon number 1?
I have Oregon as number 1.
Wow.
Because they have unlimited money.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
There's nobody who has more money right now spending in college football than Phil Knight.
But
one person.
Oregon has never won anything.
No, and they also don't. The proximity to talent thing is an issue for them. They've been able to get over it with the Nike money and all of it, but I can't have them better than. I think Ohio State's the best job in the country, so I think it's number 1, period. And then I think Texas is probably 2. But I think Michigan's right there. I think Michigan's a top 10 job in the country.
I will say this. I was close to putting Oregon over Michigan, but Michigan, having just won a national championship, kind of kept them there. I would not be surprised if we did this 3 years, 5 years from now, if Oregon has not passed Michigan. But I still think Michigan's there at number 2. I actually have USC above Penn State for me, because I think Penn State, I feel like we've seen their ceiling now. And if they don't win one this year, they're never going to. And I think USC always could be a threat to win one with the right coach.
So I've got Penn State. If you're going to ask me, Eric, what's the best job in the country? I'm going to say it's Penn State, only because I'm lazy and wouldn't want to actually work too hard, because at Penn State, it's proven you don't have to win it all, just as long as you're kind of hovering around. You're good.
There's a very low standard.
There's no expectations relative to what the resources you have are.
No, Penn State should be better, I think. To me, they should be better. But I've always come back to one thing Three said when he was recruiting. This was when he was at Notre Dame, that there was just a different... Like that Michigan was for kids, Michigan was far more attractive than Penn State. That's a tougher sell. Like getting kids to go to Happy Valley. It's remote. It's hard to get to, all of it. Like it's a choice. There's a specific type of kid. So, yeah, I mean, we had a pretty similar read on this thing. And there's the bottom of this is really, really bad. We'll have a little fun with Jake Trotter in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
It's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, I got the nicest Google review today. Dewey from Gahanna said, "We cannot believe we are able to get the Pella look and quality at the cost we did."
I got a review too. Listen to this. "These windows were great." Oh boy, for about a year. Looks like I'll need to renew, in quotes for some reason, my windows way too soon. Repeat customer?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. I would know. I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my 2 best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keep making plans to learn more.
Bands are us. When dreams don't get in, bands are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bands are us. When dreams don't get in, that's RS.
Hey, it's Anthony for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Summer savings, Rich is backing it up. He has rates as low as 0% and leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 25 Honda HR-V LX CVT two-wheel drive? Lease it for only $259 a month. 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $30.39 down. And all trades deserve a sweetener. He's giving you an extra $1,000 for yours. See them for all the details. Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
Indeed it is, and he joins on the Bright Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. We were ranking the Big Ten jobs, and it was inspired by something Urban said about Lincoln at USC. And anytime you talk to coaches, and I'm always curious, and you've covered college football for a long time, obviously, so what are the best jobs out there? And a lot of times you get USC. And you know Lincoln, and he's been there now for a little while. He's going into year 4. Seems like they have some momentum in recruiting. Had some success year 1, but just not sustained success for that program since Pete Carroll left. Is USC as good a job as some people think it is, or is it time to kind of reassess what that job actually is?
So when you say best job, Bo, are we talking the cleanest path to a national championship or sustained success year over year? Are we talking about quality of life for the coaches? Because Ohio State might be the best job in the country in one respect and maybe not so good in the other. So I think I'm assuming, I didn't see the conversation. I'm assuming Urban is just talking about success, correct?
He said that try going 8-5 at Ohio State. In other words, why isn't USC? I'm summarizing, but why isn't USC better? He didn't call for Lincoln or anything, and he had great respect for Lincoln, all of that. But it's just, why aren't they better than they've been?
Well, the standards are different at USC than they are at Ohio State. And really, I'm not sure there's a school in the country outside Alabama that has higher standards year to year than what Ohio State fans have for its program and for its coach. So you can win a lot at Ohio State, but you face a lot of pressure, and you don't really face that type of pressure at USC. I think part of it is just the culture of California. Football is important, but it's not. You've got the Dodgers, you've got the Lakers, you've got the beach. I mean, you just have other things going on. It is kind of similar to Austin in a way where you would think Texas has these insane, expectations and pressure, and it's really not like Ohio State. They have all the resources that Ohio State has, but the year-to-year expectations, it's not quite as jarring as it is at Ohio State. So I think back to USC, the problem that Lincoln is in now is the one he tried to avoid when he left Oklahoma and went to USC, is that when you're USC in the Pac-12, that is a way better job than USC in the Big Ten. Oklahoma in the Big 12, the old Big 8, is a way better job than Oklahoma in the SEC because the competition week to week, it's so tough. And, USC and Oklahoma, while they're two of the top 10 programs in college football, they don't have the resources that Ohio State have. They don't have the resources that some of the SEC programs have. So it just makes it a little tougher. I think USC with California talent gives them an edge. And, they have shown at times that they can be a dominant program, particularly in the early 2000s, mid-2000s. But, when's the last time USC was really good? It has been a long time. Yeah. You're talking 20 years now.
Yeah, and I just looked this up. If you go from 1980 to 2001, they only had 1 year where they won 10 games.
Was that Keyshawn?
Yeah, 88. It was
before Keyshawn. Yeah,
I think it was Rodney Peete.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
Rodney
that's
Peete,
it.
Troy Aikman, Barry Sanders, Heisman Trophy finals in '88. Yeah, and USC when they had tailback U going and they had the I formation, student body left and right. In the '70s and '60s was a top 3-4 program. But yeah, like since 1980, I mean USC's had a couple of moments, but it's not a top 10 program in terms of success, I think, since 1980, right? I mean,
not close. No, it's really just Pete.
I can find you 10 programs that are better.
Yeah, it's just Pete. It's not even a situation where there's like multiple different guys who have won there. It's kind of just him. He's the only one that really had sustained success. Everybody else, they've had a bunch of different coaches who have tried. They've all kind of fallen by the wayside. And the thing that's ironic about all of that is the Big Ten wanted USC because of the television market and the brand and the history and all of it. And they drug kicking and screaming to have to take Oregon. And I think Oregon's the better job by far right now. And I think that not even just the job, the branding, the ability to recruit, all of it, the way it hits with young kids, Oregon has surpassed USC over the last 20 years.
I wrote about this story. Orgeron was at LSU. I can't remember who was. I think it was probably before Cristobal. Basically, I wrote a story about how Oregon is the one program, post 2000 that didn't really have any tradition that broke through and became, in the same conversation as the Ohio States and Alabamas and Texases of the world. And the way that they did it is they became cool and they resonated with kids in a way that some of these other blue blood programs don't and haven't been able to. And I remember Ed Orgeron told me the story about when he was at USC. Remember, he was a interim head coach at USC before he went to LSU. He told me how his kids wanted Oregon gear, which drove him crazy because he was a coach at USC, and even his own kids wanted Oregon stuff because it was cool. So yeah, I think you could make that case, and Oregon had just had some success recruiting nationally in a way that I'm not sure USC has. I mean, Oregon was recruiting LaMichael James out of Texas like a decade ago, maybe even before that. And Oregon brings I think a physicality. I'm not saying they're like the most physical team in the Big Ten, but they bring a physicality, if you watch last year, that and a toughness that USC does not have and hasn't had. And I go back to that Michigan game. USC beats LSU, has this great win. They beat Nussmeier out of the gate, and you thought, okay, USC has a chance to really make some hay in the Big Ten. When you looked at their schedule, and they come up to Michigan, and Michigan is playing Alex Orji. They can't throw the ball at all. And USC is pretty dominant in the first half. Michigan's got the ball with a chance to win, and they can't throw the ball. There's only 2 minutes left. All USC has to do is gang tackle the running back, Khalil Mullins, and they flat out cannot do it. And Michigan goes down the field without throwing a pass to win the game. And I just thought that was a pretty good summation of where USC is right now. And under Lincoln, they've changed defensive coordinators. They've tried to recruit differently. They famously put on all that weight last summer to try to get ready for the Big Ten. And to this point, they just, from a style of play aspect, they're just in trouble right now because they've got the flash, but when it gets down to it and they've got to tackle, a running back from Ohio State or Penn State or Michigan, or they got to cover Tyler Warren, they just can't do it right now. And until they're able to hang with the physicality defensively, they're just going to be a second-tier program in the Big Ten. So I'm with Urban in that, like, I see the path for USC to be a top 5, top 10 program, but they're not there right now.
No, you were just at the College World Series in Oklahoma City, and that finished up. Was that finished up Thursday night? Last Thursday night?
Friday night. Friday night. So was it done by the time it was announced that this settlement was agreed upon by the judge? In terms of the House settlement, the reason I ask is because obviously when did the House settlement, was that Friday or Saturday?
It was 9:30 Friday night Eastern. 9:30 Eastern.
So like the softball game was wrapping up, I think, at the time that settlement came through finally.
Okay. The reason I ask is because when I look at non-revenue sports, and for the majority of programs, women's softball is a non-revenue sport. And it's juxtaposed with now we're going to pay $20 million for athletes. And you got a pitcher at Texas Tech who is getting $1 million next year, too. That's NIL. That's not pay. So that's a little bit different. As you observe the Women's College World Series, juxtaposed to where we're headed in college athletics, how do you reconcile all of that?
Well, if you want to go to the national championship in a sport, pay a player like Nyjah Kennedy $1 million. I mean, Texas Tech went from, like, they'd never been in the Women's College World Series. They were, like, kind of a middling program. They weren't, like, horrible, but they were not, a factor. Mm-hmm. And, they also, they hired the coach from Louisiana, Jerry Glasgow. He brings a couple of solid players with him from Louisiana. But again, like, Texas Tech is probably not a regional team, much less a Women's College World Series team without Nyjah Kennedy. Mm-hmm. They bring in Nyjah Kennedy, who is the most dominant softball pitcher we've seen over the last at least 5 to 10 years, and now they're in the national championship game. And, she just ran out of gas because she pitched every inning for Tech until the final game, the best of 3. But, if she had a little left in the tank, like, Texas Tech could have won a national championship. So, if you want to be, if you're Ohio State and you decide, you know what, we want to go to the College World Series in Omaha, Ohio State could go get the best pitcher in college baseball if it wanted to, whether it's through the $20.5 million salary cap, which probably is not going to be readily available given what I'm assuming Ohio State is going to commit to in football. Then also, Ross Bjork has said that, like, we're going to fund all the scholarships. So, what is it? Is it 36 sports off the top of my head? Is that right? Yeah, 36. Yep. So, but I do think that for these other non-revenue sports, especially if you're not committing all your money to football, or you're kind of maybe hopeless in football, or maybe you're average in football, if you want to make a name for yourself in another sport, you have the resources to do so. And if you're like, I think like the Dukes and Kansases of the world are in a really interesting position because, they have real basketball programs, and, there's going to be real competition for the Cooper Flags of the world. You get Cooper Flag, all of a sudden, you can win a national championship in basketball. But we've seen Duke and Kansas, have their moments in football. Kansas has a little bit of momentum going with the new stadium that they're building. Lance Leopold there. I think those are going to be really interesting. Like, how do you divvy out football and basketball, the programs that have real aspirations in basketball? It's going to be
That's a great point.
I don't know what everybody's going to do, and I think it's going to be different everywhere.
I agree with you. Good stuff as always. Enjoy the conversation, buddy.
All right, Tebow. Take care.
All right, there he goes. Jake Trotter, ESPN, joining on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or Not a Thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Summer is finally here. That means long days, warm nights, barbecues, sporting events, and that vacation you've been planning for months. The last thing you want to deal with is a leaking roof or unexpected damage to your home. At Newman Roofing, we understand that life gets busy and your time is important. And that's why we designed our entire process around you. Whether it's your roof, siding, or gutters, we believe in doing things the right way, not the rushed way. No high-pressure sales, no pushy pitches, just honest conversations from professionals who respect your time and your home. When you call Newman Roofing, here's what you can expect. First, we'll take time to diagnose the issue, not just slap on a quick fix. Then we'll present clear, quality solutions and answer your questions so you can make the best decision for your family and your budget. And right now, we're offering special financing options so you can protect your home without putting your summer plans on hold. So go ahead, fire up the grill, pack your bags, or hit the ball field. Let Newman Roofing take care of the rest. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, you. Wouldn't a Diet Coke at 7 a.m. totally hit? You know you can get that from Wendy's for just $1, right? Even you, girl drinking a Fanta on the way to 8 a.m. Pilates class. Any soda you want, any size, just $1. So go get that breakfast soda, you morning menace. But maybe hurry, because it's only during breakfast. Morning soda? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours. Exclusions apply. Not valid on a combo. Prices may be higher in Hawaii.
road trip. This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio.
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Working your way through that honey-do list? That means more flushes, more showers, more fiddling with the thermostat. Trust the pros at the Waterworks with your plumbing and drain cleanings and repairs and all your heating and cooling needs. Our certified pros can repair or replace your furnace or air conditioner. Clogs? Call the Waterworks. Drain cleaning? Call the Waterworks. Plumbing issues? Call the Waterworks. Furnace repairs? Call the Waterworks. The Waterworks, trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
The Fan is the official station of summertime. Sipping on a lemonade, the smell of fresh cut grass in the air, and Common Man playing fart noises on the radio.
Was that a fart?
Summer. The Fan, Ohio's summer destination.
Hollywood Casino Columbus is bringing the funny this summer. Tiffany Haddish takes the mic on Friday, July 18th with the Funny and Fearless Tour. Then Dion Cole Live hits the stage Friday, September 5th for a night of nonstop laughs. 2 comedy icons, 2 unforgettable nights. Get your friends, grab a drink, and get ready to laugh all night long. Big names, big laughs, only at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Tickets available at Ticketmaster. Visit HollywoodColumbus.com for more details. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at RCDRV.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at RCDRV.com.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not a thing on a first Friday. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Billiards Plus. Find your next grill and everything you need for the master griller. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
On Tuesday, TMZ Sports reported Joey Chestnut is in talks to return to the Nathan's Famous Hot Dog Eating Contest on July 4th at Coney Island. The 16-time champion competitive eater was banned last year because he had a sponsorship deal with a plant-based vegan hot dog brand. They did a thing with him and Kobayashi on Netflix 2 years ago, I want to say, or maybe even last year, and he ended up competitively eating against our troops. It might have been Fort Bragg, but it was somewhere else last 4th of July, but it does feel like he's imminently making his return to Coney Island for the 4th of July. Thing or not a thing?
Not a thing for me. I'm not big on all of this. I'm not big on the hot dog eating thing. Certainly well aware of it. And there was a time where there was a curiosity for me, and I'm flabbergasted at what he can take down because, like, Kobayashi was like the first one that everybody kind of knew, and then Chestnut just lapped the field with him. Like, it just was not even close. So I think that part is a little bit of a thing. Do you think that he needs it more than they need him? I think the answer to that is now yes. Like, without the hot dog eating contest, what does he do? I feel like it's critical that he has it.
Listen, this is a huge thing. The Nathan Hot Dogs Eating Contest without Joey Chestnut was like those 3 years the NBA didn't have Michael Jordan. It didn't matter who the champ was because we all know who the champ is. Like having a golf tournament without Tiger Woods in the early 2000s. I mean, we want to see the best out of our athletes, and Joey Chestnut's the best at this. He's got to be there.
We sure he's an athlete?
He's competing on ESPN, or at least he has been, and he's going to, it looks like,
guess so.
On July 4th. It does feel like they both need each other about as equal as it gets, because there's no hot dog eating contest without the spectacle, and he is the spectacle only for the famous Nathan's hot dog eating contest and a random halftime of a Cleveland Cavaliers game, putting down like 70 pierogies or whatever it was. World number 5 golfer Justin Thomas sounds like he's sick of people talking about how tough Oakmont's going to be this week at the U.S. Open. He tweeted yesterday, "So much talk about what would X handicap shoot at Oakmont. Why don't we find a way to make it happen? Have a 5, 10, 18, whatever handicap play Monday after the U.S. Open. Back tees, full rules of golf, and see what happens. May have to let a few groups through and allow for 6 to 7 hours, but I think we're all here for it. No, laughing, crying face emojis, what he ends it with, thing or not a thing."
Yeah, I think I would love to see this. They did this. Timberlake did this, and Romo did this a while ago right around a U.S. Open. I want to say it was right after a U.S. Open. They went and played it. And Romo's good. Like, he's like a scratch, and he shot 100. I think Timberlake was like 110 or something like that. I saw something from Jason Day yesterday where they asked him what an 18 handicap would shoot at Oakmont as it's currently set up, and he said 140.
Oh.
And I think he might be right. I mean, that's about where are you at, Bake? You're right in that area, that realm?
Yeah, I think I'm a 16 right now.
Okay.
I would hope I could get a 120, but I don't know. I don't know.
He talked about, Day gave a pretty good kind of breakdown of how he thought it would go. He goes, at 16, 18 handicaps, probably going to hit a cut off the tee. It's going to go into the rough down the right side. They're not going to be able to advance the ball down the right side, so they're going to have to pitch it out into the fairway. The ball will then roll into the left rough. And eventually they're just going to go like this and zigzag down a fairway, going from one rough to the next before you get to the green. Then, by the way, when you get to the green, you can't hold it. So... And then I also thought Justin Rose had a pretty good line. Like, he goes, I suppose if they were just bunting it along, like 50 yards at a pop, like just hit wedge, 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 wedge. If you're really trying to break like 120, if you did that, you might be able to do that. Like if you putted, there's a guy I saw yesterday who putted from 120 yards, putted it to within like 15 feet. That's how fast it is. So that would, if you were trying to score, Bake, what would you do if you were trying to do the best score you could make at Oakmont?
So it's funny that you just said that about the wedge, because as we were talking about this, and as I said, I would hope I could shoot 120. I was thinking maybe I'll just 7-iron this thing all the way down the course and just, hope that I can chip and putt decent enough, or hit my shots in close enough that I'm putting at least, and hope I don't 3-putt everything. I mean, that may be the way to go. It's just nothing higher than I like my 5-iron a lot. Maybe I'll hit my 5-iron some, but that's what I was thinking. Maybe just 7-iron it all the way down the course.
What do you hit that? Like 160, 170, something like that?
170 when I'm swinging it good.
Okay, so that's probably the roadmap for it. If you were trying to score, it's probably like that.
I think this would
And I do think it would take 6 hours.
Oh, for sure. I think this would be a great thing. I will volunteer for this if they want someone to try that out. But one of the biggest regrets in my life, as I mentioned yesterday, we traveled a lot for work when I was younger. And when the U.S. Open was at Bethpage, I think it was in 2002. I believe that's when it
Tiger
was.
won?
Yeah. We were there at the course a month before, and they were still, I think, like that next week, they were not going to let anybody out on the course again. And we were there for work, and our job got delayed, and we didn't have our clubs with us. And one of my biggest regrets is that we didn't rent clubs and play it.
Yeah, you should have.
Because that would have been fantastic.
Yeah. We'll have more on the U.S. Open and just how brutal it is coming up at 11:17. It is Hey Guys coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
He shoots, he scores! It's a great time of year to be a fan, but the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. Maryhaven is here to help with in-person, virtual, and group options. Learn more at maryhaven.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Summer's heating up, and so are the deals at Germain Toyota of Columbus. Whether you're cruising to the lake or hauling your weekend gear, Germain, well, they've got the truck to help you get it done. Right now, get 2.99 APR for up to 72 months on the rugged 2024 Tacoma, or step up to the powerful 2025 Tundra, also 2.99 for 72 months. These summer savings, they won't last forever. So visit Germain Toyota on the corner of I-70 and Bryce Road, or online at germaintoyota.net.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, 2-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right. Find an agent at shelterinsurance.com to get started. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Don't settle for ordinary this summer when adventure awaits. Make memories that will last forever only at your Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Central Ohio's family destination for fun. Plan your perfect summer trip at columbuszoo.org.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Teams are battling for the championship, and there's no better place to get in on the intensity than ESPN Bet.
Go from tracking the latest game-changing moments to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got day baseball in the Buckeye State. The Reds look to sweep the season series over the Guardians with a win Wednesday in Cleveland. Today's first pitch is 1:10. You can hear it over on ESPN Columbus with coverage at 12:40. Reds blanked the Guardians on Tuesday 1-0. Shohei Ohtani pitched a bullpen session Tuesday. Dodgers skipper Dave Roberts has opened the door for Ohtani pitching an actual game for the Dodgers before July's All-Star break. In the minors, the Clippers continue in Buffalo against the Bisons tonight at 6:35. Columbus is back at Huntington Park next week for a series with the Indianapolis Indians. In the NBA tonight, the Pacers host the Thunder in Game 3 of the Finals. Tip-off from Indianapolis is 8:30. The series is tied at a game apiece. You can hear the NBA Finals on The Fan tonight following the Buckeye Show. This update is sponsored by The Waterworks, your trusted neighborhood plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling experts. Visit online today at thewaterworks.com. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Our top men are working on everything except this show.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday. Time for a little Hey Guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag Hey Guys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
And when you're talking about our great friends at High Bank, the winner here is going to get that $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank Distillery. Best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. Vodka's a killer as well. Lots of wins there with our great friends at High Bank. So away we go. Hit it, Reese.
I'm going to start on Twitter with Nick. And Nick, just a personal aside, if you do this, you're not allowed back in the Buckeye State. He says, hey, guys, I'm going to the final round of the U.S. Open. What do you want me to yell after a tee shot to promote your show?
Act accordingly is that's a lot. That's certainly a lot to get there.
I heard someone at the PGA Championship yell 10 points for Gryffindor.
What are we doing?
What are we even doing here?
It's a good one. That'd have to be a shank, though, right?
That would have to be a shank. That's a
juxtaposed would be funny.
Juxtaposed would be, yeah, I definitely dropped that quite a bit. Look no rain would hit. That would hit. That's a good question. I want to think about that a little bit. Do It Live would work. Every single show I've ever done starts that way. We'll do it live. You could yell that. That would work.
Whatever day it was. Hey, this is a Thursday edition of the program.
That's right. I think do it live. We'll do it live. I think we're doing it live on do it live. Let's go with that. You're going to get a chuckle on that, too, because folks are going to get the...
They'll think it's Bill O'Reilly.
I think some will, but it's not quite as... You don't see that as much anymore. You don't see that clip go around as much anymore. But, yeah, that's an all-time clip.
Justin asks in the YouTube chat, hey guys, summertime's vacation season. Are we going to a chill, non-commercial beach like Topsail, North Carolina, a bougie beach like Hilton Head, or a down and dirty one like Myrtile Beach or Daytona?
Okay, so I just Googled Topsail Beach. I was unaware of what this brought to the table. This looks all right. So is this like Outer Banks? I'm unfamiliar with the Carolina beaches. I don't know them well. I've not been to Hilton Head or Myrtile, and I know that makes me almost un-Ohioan because it feels like everybody here goes to those two places.
Correct.
I've not been to either one. I don't know what type of beach this is, but I think the best beach in North America is on 30A, and I think it's somewhere between Seaside, Santa Rosa Beach, all the way to Rosemary Beach, which is just outside of Panama City. I think that's the best stretch of beach in the planet. So if I'm not going to a beach, I'm going to go to, I guess there's a beach at Lake Coeur d'Alene, which is where we're going to go when we go to Montana in a couple of weeks. But I would say that would be my beach choice. If I'm beach choicing, and I go anywhere and I just want to hang at a beach, it's 30A, and it's somewhere between Rosemary and Santa Rosa.
So this is kind of funny how I'm going to answer this, considering I'm actually going to Daytona Beach in a month from now, because that's where me and all of my friends have gone for a long time. But I would go like more of the quiet, quaint, more private beach. I think the best beach that I've ever been on, and I don't know what the name is or whatever, but in Siesta Key, those beaches there are just beautiful. And that's kind of along that stretch, Bo, where you just talked about as it goes up and around the coast there. So I would go more that. Myrtle Beach, I've been to a lot. That's fun to go to if you're golfing, but the beaches I don't think are very great there.
And there's a lot of people at Myrtle Beach. Growing up, we used to go almost every summer.
Myrtle Beach 4th of July is pretty fun because you get a heck of a fireworks show all the way up and down the beach.
And a great many biker weeks.
Bob Duatos. That's where Ashley Schaefer bet his match, was outside the Bob Duatos.
Norm asks on the YouTube chat, hey guys, you're now the athletic director at Ohio State. What is priority number one for you as OSU AD?
Football team remaining exactly as it is, and every single resource that I need to make sure that happens to that end. It's all that matters. I mean, that's it. That's the whole job. And then in terms of like the first thing that I think that Ross, because you think about hiring coaches, building buildings, Ross's legacy is going to be whatever happens with the horseshoe in the next. Hopefully he's in that job for 15 years if he wants to be, and hopefully it all goes the way that we think it will. But the horseshoe is going to be his legacy. That's in terms of his cement firm legacy. It's going to be what improvements are made at the horseshoe, and if he has to ever hire, a football coach or a men's basketball coach again. Those are the things that are you're defined by.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same priority that's been at Ohio State for as long as we've known. Make sure football remains king and number one.
I'm going to take sticks of dynamite and attach them to each of the structural pillars around Ohio Stadium. And then I am going to put out for bid whoever wants to push down the lever to make them all go boom. Highest bidder, you get to push down on this thing, and you get to introduce Ohio State to the next era of modern college football.
Just you cackling as that happens.
Yes, wildly, with a monocle on the top hat.
I hope you have something else in place before you do that.
Nope, you got to rip the Band-Aid off first. Because the money I'm hoping to make from selling the lever pusher, that's going to help finance the new stadium.
You think you'd want that stink on you, like the guy who pressed the lever?
It's all about legacy, brother.
Yeah.
You can't, okay, so you're right. I'll do one better. You get to push the lever, and you get your name on on the new Ohio Stadium forever.
There you go.
Your name gets to go on it, and you get to pick where it goes.
Now you're talking.
Reese,
highest bidder.
You would be hated like my dad still hates Bill Belichick for getting rid of Kozar.
It's fine, but I would be right. Nathan asks on Twitter, what's your favorite Lee Corso moment?
Oh, man. He dropped an F-bomb
Yep.
once. Was that at Houston or something? I can't remember where.
Yeah, he had a cougar head that he said, F
blanket.
No, he had a megaphone. He had like
he threw the megaphone, put on the cougar head. Okay.
Yeah. He goes, blanket. I'll tell you one that was pretty. My favorite one is when they gave him the guns at Oklahoma.
So good.
And he just fired them. And I don't know that everybody on the set, including him, knew that the guns, that it was ready to fire. I think he did that at Texas Tech once too, but he definitely did it using the Oklahoma shotgun-looking things.
So
was that at Texas Tech when he did that?
I don't know, but Oklahoma, he had the shotgun.
Yeah, the
Texas Tech one, he had two pistols.
The pistols. God.
They were in Eugene one time, and they were picking like Harvard and Yale, and they had this kid come on. Yeah. And I don't know what the kid was doing, but he picked Yale or Harvard, and Corso said, "Not so fast, midget." And you could have stopped the show there.
Yeah. I mean, I love when he gets in the Irish uniform and dances around. I mean, I think that's money. When he does the little jig to the Irish, I think that's great. There's a lot of great ones.
The "oh, F it" was the best because of the reaction from the rest of the guys. Like, Herb Street almost fell out of his chair. But I love the pistols, too, at Texas Tech. That was so good because everybody on the set ducked.
Yeah.
All right, Ace on the YouTube chat has a question. We already kind of discussed the first part of it, but he said if you had to be thrown in with your current set of skills to play one round of the U.S. Open or play the field or bat in one World Series game, what do you think your results would be as you currently are constituted?
Okay, so I got a bat in the World Series. I'm not coming. I haven't swung a bat in with anything fast. I did like a thing for TV where I stood in the batter's box against a Florida State pitcher, Jessica Vanderlinth, who was the National Player of the Year, like in the early 2000s, and I stood in the box with her, and I couldn't even see it. Like, I didn't come close ever. So that's the last time I've had anything really fast coming at me when I stood in a batter's box. So I don't think I would even. I think the ball would almost be back to the pitcher by the time I finished my swing on that. U.S. Open, like if I played Oakmont and I played it, I would do what you said. Like if I was really trying to play and trying to finish a round and play every hit, I would do what you did, Bake, and I would hit a 7-iron or an 8-iron or something like that I know is going to go straight, and I would just do that repetitively, and I would shoot 130 probably. That's probably the way I'd go about it. That's probably the best I could do. I don't see any scenario how I could do any better than that.
So Ace said you could either play the field or take an at-bat in the World Series, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to go out there in the outfield or play an inning at first base. I may not be as quick as I used to be, but I was a pretty decent outfielder. I could go run the ball down a little bit. I think I'm going to go take
track
my.
It?
Oh yeah. I don't. You don't lose that. And I've played. I played last summer at least, so it hasn't been forever ago. Now it's obviously softball and not baseball, but I think I could still go get it in the outfield, or I could hold my own at first base for an inning. So I think I'll play the field.
I would get some hoppy confidence, and then I would try to lean into the batter's box as far as I could and just get plunked.
One?
Yeah.
You're gonna take one? Are you Barry Bonds' armor?
I'm putting on a full suit of armor, or as close as they will allow me to do it.
You don't want 100 mile an hour to the shoulder.
What if he throws like a 78er? Like
no,
but I've got some in me, so I'm a little bit more confident.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Talk about guys that can fall out of like a third-story window and be fine because their body's just all limber.
You'd have the words from the official Major League Baseball on your arm.
But it'd be a story.
It would. Yeah. Well, then, that's it.
We got to pick a winner.
Was it Justin with the beach?
He did.
That was good, because then I looked up that beach in North Carolina he mentioned, which I had no point of reference on. I said, boy, that's drivable. Maybe that would be a little location where we could drive the boys. So good job out of Justin on that. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. Enjoy that. A great, great deal. The U.S. Open starts tomorrow. It's as close as we're going to have a U.S. Open maybe in any of our lifetimes. We should take advantage of it. We'll get you set for what is appearing to be an all-time test of golf. That is coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. We'll say that again. Real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. Pick your flavor, pick your mix-ins, or try one of our featured recipes. And get an ice cream quake made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes, new from United Dairy Farmers.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris, Texas! Then it's off to Rome, Georgia! And you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $434 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Save a whole lot more all summer long with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves.
Like Meyer bottled water?
24 packs for $2.99.
How about Meyer freezer pops?
Yeah, for just $1.99.
Meyer Quencher sparkling water?
69 cents each plus deposit where applicable.
What about ingredients for s'mores?
Of course. Meyer marshmallows for $1, Meyer graham crackers for $2, and Meyer 6-pack chocolate bars for $4 all summer long.
Now that's a good deal better.
Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meyer app.
With over 33 years in business, Newman Roofing believes white glove services shouldn't be a thing of the past. From the first call, you'll be greeted with friendly professionals to answer all your questions. Special financing options available now, so call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com.
Don't miss the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale. Save up to 80% on truckloads of floors and more, including tiles starting at 19 cents a square foot and a massive selection of laminate, luxury vinyl, and carpet, all drastically reduced. Cabinets and lighting fixtures, too. Save up to 80% during the Right Rug Flooring Outlet Super Sale on Pop Road in Whitehall. 24-month financing is available with approved credit. Hurry, the Outlet Super Sale ends June 22nd. Dealers welcome.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone letting you know that Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings in Dublin has everything you need for your backyard this summer. They've got a huge selection of poly outdoor furniture built to last, never needs refinished, perfect for the lazy among us. Want to get the kids outside? Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings has quality-built play sets that you can configure any way you like. Plus, Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings is your trusted source for Weaver Barnes in Central Ohio. Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings in Dublin or online at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. And, of course, tell them T-Bone sent you.
All your favorite fan shows are on YouTube, along with those fake YouTube ads like Chew This Gum and It Grows New Teeth. Experience the splendor of Bo sitting in his closet, Timmy Hall's gouty gold chains, and Matty Ice wearing a coat in 90-degree weather. It's all there. Head to YouTube and subscribe today.
Are you in need of basic dental treatment but can't afford the cost? There may be a solution. Hi, I'm Dr. Hal Jeter, president of the Ohio Dental Association, and I'm excited to tell you about a program called Dental Options. Dental Options is a partnership between the Ohio Dental Association and the Ohio Department of Health, in which qualifying patients can be paired with a dentist to receive discounted or even free dental care. Eligibility for the program is based on your financial situation. For more information or to apply, call 1-888-765-6789.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at ChangeTheGameOhio.org. That's ChangeTheGameOhio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Make sure you have plenty of water as well as sunscreen in your bag as you head out the door today. We will have sunshine all day with afternoon highs in the mid to low 80s. Down into the 60s tonight with mostly clear skies, and then another day of sunshine and heat as we get temperatures up right around 90 degrees. For the Fan, I'm meteorologist Meredith Garfolo with your 10 weather impact forecast.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. If you love a good pie analogy,
think of the cap as a pie. And once you take out one piece, there's less left for the next guy.
Then this is the radio show for you. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Indeed you are. Join us for the inaugural 971 The Race, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center. It's a 5K run, 1 mile walk. It's June 21st at Otterbein. Some of your favorite fan personalities will be there, including Tyvus, Mann, Bone, Reese, and more. Every participant gets a finisher's medal, a race shirt, free photos, and awesome gifts from Logan Services and Raising Cane's. The inaugural 971 The Race is presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center and sponsored by Impact Health and Wellness and by the Ohio State University ROTC. Sign up today at 971thefan.com. There's two parts of this next discussion about the U.S. Open, which starts tomorrow at Oakmont. Number one is the realization, and I do think it is a realization, that in my lifetime at least, this is as close as we're going to get to a major in Ohio, and that sucks that it's in Pittsburgh, but there's just nothing on the horizon and no momentum for anything on the horizon. So when it's at Oakmont, you got to take advantage if you want to go see relatively close by major championship golf. Then I think there's kind of the Scotty part of it, the inevitability of Scotty. If I'm Scotty Vegas, I feel very good. I feel very, very good about the bet that I have that he made public over the weekend. It's just basically relying on a Scotty Scheffler win. It's not quite Tiger level, but it's in the vicinity of that. And some of that comes from what we saw from Rory McIlroy the last time out he played. If someone is going to track him down, to me it feels like it's going to be Bryson DeChambeau would be the one who would be able to do it. If I were to give you those two or the field, would you take it?
I would.
I would too.
Yeah.
I'm a big Bryson guy this weekend because I think with that rough, he's just a cheat code because he's got a pitching wedge into everything anyway. And that's what you got to use to hack it out of there. So I just think, and he's just a guy who works on everything. And we know at the Masters, he talked about he didn't have everything exactly right. And I feel like he's been tweaking on everything and working on it ever since.
It feels like I don't watch LIV. I have no idea how successful he's been on LIV, but it feels like he uses LIV to prepare for the majors. That's what it seems like to me. That he doesn't really care if he wins on LIV. I think the money's nice on LIV, and so there's the money, and then he just prepares for these 4 majors a year.
Yeah, I kind of feel like everything he does is preparing for the majors.
Yeah. But it's almost better because he's not grinding on the PGA Tour. Like he can.
And he's already got his money. He doesn't have to worry about winning his money.
Right. So the pressure is very different. He was asked about his future on LIV. Here was his response to that.
When it ends, we're looking to negotiate end of this year, and I'm very excited. They see the value in me. I see the value in what they can provide. And I believe we'll come to some sort of resolution on that, and super excited for the future. I think that, LIV's not going anywhere. HE has been steadfast in his belief on team golf, and whether everybody believes in it or not, I think it's a viable commercial option. Our team has been EBITDA positive for the past 2 years, so we're starting to grow and move in the right direction, just like TGL. TGL has done a great job. They've got some teams that are making some money, and I believe there is a sustainable model out there. How it all works with a game of golf, who knows? But I know my worth. I know what LIV brings to the table, and I'm excited for the future of what golf is going to be.
I just like how candid he is now. Like, it's a win for me financially. It's not my problem to make it the most popular tour. They think team golf works, fine.
I don't know if I've ever seen an athlete totally 180 his personality and position with the fans like Bryson DeChambeau does, and he's done it when most people like Phil or John Rahm or guys that left the PGA Tour and went to LIV have lost people in their corner. And he has totally switched it.
Yeah, him and Phil inverted. If you think about when Phil won the PGA, was that at Kiowa? When he had the whole crowd in the fairway with him? I think that was at Kiowa. To go from that to the way Phil is viewed now, that's probably the opposite. It's a great point, though. But I also think Bryson's really popular with the kids because of the YouTube stuff he does. They love it.
Well, and I think the YouTube stuff that he started doing has kind of helped him deal with the cameras and the media and questions and all of that. It's kind of been twofold.
Yeah. I think it has as well. This is the first time we've heard from Rory McIlroy in a while. He didn't speak last time out at a brutal appearance at the RBC up in Canada last week, where I think didn't he shoot 80?
Or it was right there, an 8 over for his Friday round. He didn't make the cut.
No. So they were asked him about finding motivation after Augusta. Here's what the Masters champion had to say.
You dream about the final putt going in at the Masters, but you don't think about what comes next. So, I think I've always been a player that struggles to play after a big event. After I win whatever tournament. I always struggle to show up with motivation the next week because you've just accomplished something and you want to enjoy it and you want to, sort of relish the fact that you've achieved a goal. And I think chasing a certain goal for the better part of, a decade and a half, I think I'm allowed a little bit of time to relax a little bit, but, we're here at Oakmont and I certainly can't relax this week.
Okay, he's not. He's not. Like if he misses, I wouldn't be surprised if he misses the cut. That's not the mentality of someone who's going to be in the mix.
This is exactly my issues with this guy forever, right? And it's not. Listen, what's your why? Yeah. But it's we judge everyone unfairly against Tiger Woods. And Tiger Woods didn't have that mentality. Tiger Woods had that I want more. Yeah, this was great, but I want to win this all. I want to chase down Jack. Rory just obviously doesn't have that mentality. He has all the physical tools. He has the game. And maybe he had that mentality when he was younger and he won the 4 there in that 3-season span. But ever since then, it's not been there. He won the Masters. I'm happy for him. But this is why he's never been better.
Yeah, and the guy they're all going to be chasing is going to be Scotty. If he's in the mix, he's going to be in the mix. If he's playing, if he's teeing it up, he's going to be in the mix on Sunday. Like, that's the safest bet ever. Will he win? Who knows? But he'll be there. He'll be on the board. That feels automatic. He was asked about the different tests and about the challenge that Oakmont will provide. Here's the word number one.
I kind of equate some of the major tests to, like the majors in tennis, you're playing on a different surface. So you got grass, clay, and then a hard court, and it's a different style of game. And the U.S. Open compared to the Masters is a completely different type of test. I think in the Masters you have a lot more shot making when you get around the greens because it's a lot of fairway. There's pine straw. There's not really the rough factor. And then when you get here, it's a lot of hacking out of the rough. They still have to be extremely precise, but it's a bit more of like when you talk about strength and power, I think that becomes more of a factor at these tournaments because when you hit in the rough, you got to muscle it out of there. And it's just a different type of test than you see at the Masters. Both of them are fantastic tests. This is probably the hardest golf course that we'll play maybe ever. And, that's pretty much all it is. It's just a different type of test. Like when you miss a green at the Masters, the ball kind of runs away and it goes in these areas and you can play a bump, you can play a flop. There's different options. Here, when you hit the ball over the green, you're just getting some heavy rough and it's like, let me see how I can pop the ball out of this rough and somehow give myself a look. It's just a different type of test. And I don't know if one of them's better than the other, but they're just different. And here, the winning score I don't think is going to be what the winning score was at the Masters. It's just different.
I can't wait to watch this. I can't wait to watch it. It starts tomorrow. Here are your tee times. Some notable tee times. Rory, Justin Rose, and Shane Lowry. They're 7:40 tomorrow. 7:18 actually. Ludwig Oberg and Matsuyama and Adam Scott go there. 7:29. So kind of like the Memorial does this too, where they stack them mornings and then another good group early in the afternoon. So 7:29, you got Schauffele and DeChambeau in a group there, and then in the afternoon, tee times to pay attention to. Kind of the money one is 1:14 with Spieth, Rahm, and Johnson, and then at 1:25 it'll be Scotty, Morikawa, and Victor Hovland. So that is what you have to look forward to tomorrow as the U.S. Open gets going at Oakmont. We'll get some perspective from over in the suburbs of Pittsburgh. Dave Shedloski, Golf Digest and editor of the Memorial Magazine, going to join us in 2 minutes. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Right now, pork back ribs or Tyson boneless chicken breasts are on sale for $2.99 a pound with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Say goodbye to car care headaches with Carvenience from Hinderer Motor Company. This is Justin Hinderer. For only $49, we'll pick up your vehicle, leave you with a rental, and return it fully serviced and spotless. No more juggling your schedule or wasting hours at the shop. Carvenience lets you focus on what matters while we take care of all the rest, making life easier. Schedule your service today at HindererMotorCompany.com.
Ever wonder where your go-to maintenance person gets the metal products they need to fix yours and everyone else's problems? The best in the business go to Metal Supermarkets for their wide variety of metal products and shapes to tackle projects from simple to complex. Metal Supermarkets is your source for all metals cut to size and ready fast. No minimum order with maximum service. Visit the family-owned franchise on North Wilson Road or at Columbus at metalsupermarkets.com.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Diamond Seller, your true jeweler for over 75 years. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hi, we're efforting Dave over at Oakmont as they're finishing up their practice rounds over there. One of the things I saw last night on Golf Channel was they were kind of a walk and talk, and it was with John Rahm, and he was talking about how long it takes to even play a practice round there. And, of course, they just want to play 9, but these guys are spending all this time chipping and putting, and even a practice round of 9 holes will take like 3 hours. That's how precise they have to be on this. You've all seen this. If you're a golf fan at all, you've all seen these visuals and these images of the rough and hitting the ball 5 feet off of the fairway and being unable to find it. The membership rough there is typically at 2.5 inches, and they've grown it to 5. But it's not just that they've grown it at 5. I heard the superintendent last night on Golf Channel talking about how if you just grow it to 5, then it becomes very wispy. They actually grew the height into it to get it that 5, and so when you drop a ball, it's gone, which is a crazy thing to wrap your head around. Let's get some perspective from boots on the ground. He's one of the best in the business. He is Dave Shedloski. He is a Golf Digest writer, of course, and editor of the Memorial Magazine. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time. Seen you at Muirfield for many, many years and really enjoy your work, and we thank you a great deal for taking some time. For our fans who have been to Jack's place and know the test that Muirfield is 2 weeks ago, what makes Oakmont so much more difficult this week?
Well, great question. And Bo, really glad to be with you. Look, there's a couple things. Speed of the greens, pitch of the greens. Oakmont has these famously fast greens that, on a normal day might run 17 or more. They'll slow them down to 15 for this week at the start of each round. And, Memorial can get up in the 13s. Mm-hmm. So you got that right there. That is a difficulty in itself. Oakmont has about 180 bunkers. No course in the world, even St. Andrews, does not have 180 bunkers, and a lot of them have been redone and are extremely deep, which means if you find a fairway bunker, you're probably not reaching the green. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you mentioned the rough, and they even planted a particular kind of grass just for this year's U.S. Open that grows in thicker. Then we had a wet spring. As you can imagine, I heard you talking about it. The rough is really tough. And then, of course, the fairways are not as wide as Muirfield Village. Jack gives room off the tee. You're going to have a tough time finding some of these fairways unless you are really on point with the driver or whatever you choose to hit off the tee. Some guys may dial back just to be in the fairway.
You know, Dave, the thing that's been interesting, listening to some of the guys over there, I know you've talked to all of them, it feels like, and I don't know if they're just trying to precondition their minds for it, but it feels like they're kind of having fun with how difficult it is. But my hunch is by the time we get to tomorrow morning, the mental test of this is just nuts. And how do they prepare for that, as you've talked to the guys who have done it and had success there and done it at the best?
Yeah, I think you've actually hit on the answer in the question, which is that they're already girding for what they know is the hardest U.S. Open course they're ever going to face. And it's set up in a way that really accentuates the things that make it difficult. So if you go in, I remember talking at Media Day with a caddy who said that a lot of players, when they come to Oakmont and they haven't been there, if they can get their mind right and just say, you know what, I'm not going to worry about a score. I'm just going to, I know it's hard and I'm going to accept that. Well, of course, these guys have to worry about a score, but they are going in accepting that that score may not look like they hope it would. And there you go.
That's the trick, right? How does the Dave, how does the USGA walk the fine line between borderline impossible and unfair? Because this has happened before at U.S. Opens where we'll see, a ball that feels like it's perfectly struck and it rolls off and then the players get upset with it. How do they balance that? And when they get it right, how do they do it?
Well, there's a couple things they do. Obviously, the stimp meter was invented here at Oakmont so they can measure the speed of the greens and definitely keep them, reasonable, if you will. They also have a device that measures the firmness or softness, or however you want to quantify it, the softness of the greens, so there may be some receptivity to them, at least in spots where you're going to land it. They're not going to make everything receptive. If you hit it, to the back edge, you're not going to spin it back. You're going to be over in the gunch, and good luck to you. You've mishit your ball. Those are things, a lot of what you talk about and a lot about what you see with U.S. Opens that go wrong are on the green. So it's kind of funny that they pay this much attention to them, and then you get a Shinnecock in 2018 where Phil's running after the ball on the 13th hole and hitting it while it's moving. John Daly did the same thing in 1999 at Pinehurst when he got a little upset. How about Payne Stewart in 98 at Olympic Club, watching his ball roll back to him from a back pin at 18. Mistakes do happen, and that's where the fine line really is. Everything else is relative. I mean, I asked several guys, is there such a thing as hack out rough or something unfair? No, there really isn't. The test is to get it in the fairway, and if you don't, you're probably going to pay somewhat of a penalty, unless you are magnificent getting up and down.
Dave, one of the things that's been kind of a focal point for those of us who follow the sport from 30,000 feet and pay close attention at the Memorial Tournament and the majors is we are now in this stage, and it's been going on for a while, where these legendary traditional courses are being remade. Congo took out all of the trees. LACC a couple of years ago. There was another one at US Open in New York. I'm blanking on the name of it, a couple of years ago, where they had taken out the trees. And we had it here at Scioto where they kind of remade that a little bit. But Oakmont was one of the first to do it, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. When you and Oakmont's been like this since the last time it was there too, obviously, and they started in the 90s, and our audience knows that. But when you think about when I think about when I was a kid, Dave, I think of like tree line fairways. That's the U.S. Open. But most of these now are looking the way that Oakmont does. Where are you on all of that as they try to take these courses back to the way they were originally designed? And are all of these hitting the way that you think that they should?
I'm of two minds on it. It just depends on the venue. I think that at Oakmont, it works in spots, but what's the name of the course? It's Oakmont, and so where's the Oaks, as they might say? And I think Robert Trent Jones, he believed that trees were integral to design, and you see that when he redid Firestone, where they've had 3 PGA championships at the Firestone South course, of course, where they now have a senior major, where they removed about 150 trees over the last few years at Firestone, but they kept most of them because that was integral to the design aspect. And it kind of was at Oakmont, too. That's the course that Ernie Els won in 1994. And Jack, of course, beating Arnold in 62, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it works in spots at Oakmont, but not quite. I think that, like, to look at a Scioto where we're going to have a senior open next year, I think what Andrew Green did with trees was tremendous. It opened up a lot of the golf course, and they still kept enough to make it look like it still looked, 50 years ago. And I think that's important, too. I don't understand the craze of removing too many trees. I think that you open up if you open up the golf course a little, the grass grows better, the playability is better. You might get some shot values back that you'd lost when the trees grew up, past where they envisioned they should be. After that, leave them alone.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm fascinated about this from the Oakmont perspective. If there's a freeway running through it, that's 76 that runs through it. So that's kind of wild for like a private golf experience, obviously, but they do a good job of hiding it. Do the members enjoy playing there? Like, because here's the truth I always tell our audience, like most golfers who aren't good. Most people aren't. And I know the rough is going to be 2.5 inches versus 5 and all of that. But like, I'm just wondering, like, if you talk to folks who are members who are 15 handicaps, is it an enjoyable experience playing there?
No. And you know what a great perspective on this was John Rahm. He was asked if he lived in Pittsburgh, would he be a member at Oakmont? At Oakmont, and his answer was simply, yeah, because it's Oakmont. I mean, the reputation and the prestige, the history. He said, now, would I play there very much? And the answer was no, because it's not. It's fine if you get ready for 4 rounds in a major here or whatever, and that's okay. That's fine. Then you get to leave. Yeah, the members. The members have to have, I think, a mentality that, look, not many people get to do this, so I'm just going to enjoy it even if I get punished. And that, I think, has to be just the mentality of these guys. And that's okay. I think, if you play the right tees and you go in knowing you're probably going to shoot the worst round of the year every time you do it, all right, that's fine. But I don't know why you'd do it.
It's wild. It's a wild thing. I'll get you out.
Would you do it? I mean,
no, I wouldn't. I every time I look at it, I'm like, that just seems like a drudgery to go out there and try to survive. I mean, it just does to me. It doesn't seem like it would be fun at all. I'll get you out of here, and I greatly appreciate your time. It's obviously Scotty, right? If it's not him, who else do you anticipate surviving on Sunday? And I do think it'll be about survival.
Yeah, I wrote a piece just this morning about how strength was a factor here at Oakmont for several reasons. Of course, hitting out of the rough, but just in general, not length, but also strength, root strength. So I look at Scotty, big bone man. I look at John Rahm, very, very solid. DeChambeau, the defending champion. I look at guys like that who, who won't wear down over 72 holes. And but you know what Brandel Chamblee, Golf Channel, said when somebody asked him, what's the winning score at Oakmont? He said, whatever Scotty shoots. So there you go.
That's where we're at, Dave. I've always admired your work. It's a great thrill to have you on, and thank you for your perspective today.
Thank you. Appreciate it, both.
All right, very good. Dave Shedloski, Golf Digest and editor of the Memorial Magazine, boots on the ground at Oakmont. What a scene, man. What a scene. Get your officially endorsed and 3 things coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here, and so are the summer savings at RCD RV. Don't miss RCD RV's summer kickoff sale running June 7th through the 21st. New RVs starting as low as $12,995. Now's the time to make a splash this summer. Hurry in. Those deals will not last long. Find unbeatable savings, unforgettable fun, and everything you need to hit the road at rcdrv.com. Visit our locations, Delaware, Heath, and Pataskala, or shop online anytime at rcdrv.com.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Common Man and Timmy talking to you about the ESPN Bet Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Our guys at Hollywood are pulling out all the stops for summertime fun, live bands, food trucks, and more fun on select Saturdays.
Are they still doing the all-you-can-eat ribs?
Oh, yes, ribs. Tuesdays and Thursdays in June at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Join Penn Play Rewards and play up to $500 on us. Not Hollywood. Timmy and I are paying for it.
No, we're not. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get an ECO.
ECO.
Hey, Jerry, I think I invented something. Does it solve a problem? It solves a big problem.
Get Eco.
ECO. Heating and cooling companies are telling people your furnace and AC isn't worth fixing. You need to replace it with a whole new system.
You invented a solution for that?
I invented a way to fix those systems for free.
Get Eco.
ECO.
That's a great invention. How does it work?
Step 1 is to pay ECO to fix it.
I thought you said you'd fix it for free.
Step 2 is that we give you back all the money that you paid us, up to $1,500 when you get ECO to replace it.
Get Eco.
ECO.
What if your repair keeps my system running for several more years?
That would mean you got all those extra years for free.
Paying ECO to fix your AC system is like putting money in the bank.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Get Eco.
ECO. Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
I can't wait to meet her. Oh my gosh.
Put your hands together for new Dr. Pepper Blackberry and Dr. Pepper Blackberry Zero Sugar.
There she is! Woohoo! Yeah! It's full Dr. Pepper!
With sweet blackberry flavor!
Dr. Pepper Blackberry, I'm obsessed with your succulent taste. Please marry me!
No! Marry me! Marry me, or I'm gonna freak out!
Try new Dr. Pepper Blackberry.
It's a pepper thing!
What does summer bring to mind? Lazy days by the pool? Hot dogs on the grill? How about large, sweaty men putting work in to defend their national title? Yes! Your summer home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
There's a huge focus in America today about your health, and you're determined to look beyond the pills. You don't want to have surgery, because I know I didn't. So you want to talk to the person that's in pain right now? Well, that was me. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone you love, and maybe you've done everything you can. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter for my friends at QC Kinetics. They're different. They're not about those quick fixes. This isn't going to be some shot that's going to make you feel better. It's not a surgery that's going to put you on the shelf. They're about long-term relief. This is regenerative medicine we're talking about right here. Your own body's healing properties to heal the damaged tissue at the cellular level. QC Kinetics, they've helped tens of thousands of people, so many of them right here in the Columbus area and across the country. They'd be honored to help you just like they helped me with my knee, just like they helped my dad. Here's what they're going to do. They're not going to mask the pain. They're going to go to the source of it. So go check them out at qckinetics.com/Columbus to see if you're a good candidate, or give them a call at 380-28-4544. They've got offices in Dublin and in Gahanna and newly in Canal Winchester and Grove City.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, Reese, what do we have on the poll today?
Daily Fan Poll asks, have you ever attended ESPN's College Game Day show live in person? This obviously comes off the heels that ESPN announced Lee Corso and company will be in Columbus August 30th for Ohio State and Texas. 55% of you said yes. You have attended College Game Day live in person.
Yeah, multiple locations. I'm trying to think all the places I've seen it. How many have you guys seen?
I'm actually surprised that's only 55%. I thought that would be more, as many times as Game Day has been here to Ohio State. I've seen, I would say, 3 or 4, at least bits and pieces. Maybe not the whole thing, but I've been through for quite a few.
I mean, I can't really consider it like attending it, because when I've been on campus, when there's been a game day, I've walked past the set only because that's been on my journey to get into the stadium. So I don't really, I wouldn't put myself in any of that, because I've never gone to Ohio State's campus or even think to Michigan's campus specifically for College Game Day. So I'd actually put myself in the no camp. Like, I've seen it. I've been around for it.
Yeah, but you haven't sat there.
Yeah.
I haven't sat there and watched it, but I've seen it and been near it and by it and near their setup in Tallahassee, Gainesville, here, Ann Arbor, East Lansing, Baton Rouge. Quite a few. There's been quite a few of them. It's great. It's great. And I'm glad the last one's going to be here. It's a First Friday. Time for your officially endorsed.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday. Officially endorsed, because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
You drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
I always try to do something timely. So for the U.S. Open, I was curious, like, what is the official cocktail of Oakmont Country Club and the U.S. Open at Oakmont? And so what it's called is a lemon wedge. You need a blended Scotch whiskey for this. Two of my favorites, Famous Grouse, Monkey Shoulder. Both of those are exceptional. They're readily available. So you're going to need 2 ounces of that. You're going to need equal parts then of lemonade and club soda. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, the makeup of this, I don't know. I don't know how the flavor makeup's going to go, but then I also remember at times putting a twist in a bourbon on the rocks in the summer, and that always hits. So my guess is that this is going to hit too. So the lemon wedge is your officially endorsed on this first Friday heading into the U.S. Open tomorrow at Oakmont. All right, time for 3 things, guys.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Buckeye Lake Marina, Central Ohio's largest selection of new and pre-owned boats. Find your next dream boat at BuckeyeLakeMarina.com.
Number 1 for me, it appears that this morning the nearly 3-year-old golden retriever, Buddy Garrity, decided to roll in something that was dead. His stench is hard for me to even wrap my head around. Now, the reason dogs do this is because they're trying to disguise themselves. It's part of their old nature of hunters, their Wolvian past, and they're trying to disguise their scent. He's a golden retriever. He's not hunting anything. And so basically what this means is that I'm going to have to give him a bath at some point this afternoon or tonight, and that's never a treat. It's awful. I mean, he came up to me. I could hardly even get near him. It stunk so bad. It's just awful. I don't even know where he found it. I don't even know where he found a dead animal or some sort of a septic tank of a slaughterhouse. I don't know where it even came from.
Speaking of PU, the Guardians line up today against the Cincinnati Reds. I know it's a day off for Stephen Kwan, but you're telling me Kyle Manzardo and Daniel Schneemann are also getting the day off? Like, Manzardo's second on your team in home runs, and you haven't played him since Monday. I know he's been in a slump, but he's 24 years old, and the only way to get guys like that out of a slump is to put him at the plate. PU, Guardians, you deserve to get the brooms broke on your ass today by the Reds.
Got them ready, too. That's for sure over here. Congratulations to the Murray State Racers baseball team. They have gone from their 800-seat stadium where head coach Dan Skirka cuts the grass to Omaha for the College World Series. For the very first time, they beat Duke this past weekend to advance. They're just the 4th 4-seed ever to make it to the College World Series. They will take on UCLA Saturday at 1.
This was going to be mine, too. It's not just a 4-seed, Bake. It's a 4-seed in the regional. They were a 4-seed in the regional, meaning that they were the first game for the number 1 seed in the regional on the number 1 seed's home field. And they survived that, and then they survived a super regional playing at Duke, all while playing in front of a stadium that seats 800, and the coach is cutting the grass. This is such a heartwarming story. It's an incredible story. But at the same time, I fear that it's fleeting. I just don't know that this will ever happen again. This feels like a one-off to me.
Let's go Racers.
Let's go, baby. I love that logo, by the way. I love the Racers.
The second thing for me, and probably something, Baker, you might have lined up, but Zach Werenski officially finished second in Norris Trophy voting. I do think it was that slump the Jackets went on at the end of the season there that kind of bopped them out of playoff contention that really did it for his chances.
I did see that. That's in the new and update. I did not have that for 3 things, so good thing out of you, Reese. Again, guys, like last week, this is my Friday. I'm heading to Akron when we get done with the show here, heading up to Canal Park to get things set up for the state baseball tournament this weekend. Should be fun. Not quite as many games for me as they're doing the baseball tournament at 2 different sites. It'll be at Canal Park, and it'll be at Thurman Munson as well. So always a fun time up in Akron. Canal Park, a beautiful, beautiful ballpark.
Diamond Grill?
So I think that's where I'm heading tonight now that you told me.
It's going to treat you well, buddy.
Right around the corner from the hotel.
Right. It's going to treat you all right, my friend. Hey, by the way, I've known Jerry Emig a long time, the legendary sports information director at Ohio State. He's a Murray State alum. I had no idea. All the more reason. Jerry's one of the best guys ever. Go Racers. Let's go. We just did this is number 3 for me. We just did a 3-hour radio show, and we did not mention that Game 3 of the NBA Finals is tonight.
Oh, yeah. You can hear it on the fan.
That's slipping, baby. just don't care. I just can't make myself care. Maybe something happens tonight that'll flip it.
If the NBA is not going to make it a big deal, why should anybody else? If they're going to superimpose the Larry O'Brien trophy onto the court, like it's just a lazy thing all the way around. Hey, heads up, if you get a text from the BMV, the Ohio BMV, it's a scam. I got one this morning, and it looks kind of legit. It's not.
Yeah, not great.
Final thing for me, Rothman and Ice coming up next. A little Adam Schefter at 12:30. Be interesting to hear what he says on maybe this Bengals situation.
And I think Bob's doing the last couple hours, it looks like, as well.
Iceman's out. You got Cole in for the first hour, and then the general from 1 to 3.
Getting the band back together on that one, so that'll be fun. You have that to look forward to, which is nice. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Here's a quick 10-second reminder that the Buckeyes have won the Natty. Also, we are all the games, and we always will. Thank you. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Right now, get 50% off your windows. That's half off, plus no interest, no payments for 12 months, and a free entry door with your window purchase. Restrictions apply. Call 614-502-5220. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Celebrate Father's Day and update your lawn with a little help from Ohio Mulch. Whether it's fresh mulch, rich soil, or expert lawn care products, a beautiful landscape, well, it begins with Ohio Mulch. Right now, get 5 bags of mulch or soil for just $10.95. Make your weekend project easier in the yard. Well, it'll be the envy of the block. Visit OhioMulch.com or stop by your local store. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there from your friends at Ohio Mulch.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply. Cleaner, greener, better.
Reds fans, get your tickets now to watch Ellie De La Cruz and your Cincinnati Reds take on Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees in a 3-game series, June 23rd through the 25th, presented by Kroger Zero Hunger, Zero Waste. Don't miss this exciting matchup against the reigning American League champions. To catch all the action at Great American Ballpark, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/tickets.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward here, and I remember the first time I understood that old saying about giving a man a fish. It made so much sense, and I see examples of it all the time. Take the new weight loss meds, for instance. Think about this. You take a shot, you eat less, and you lose weight. But the second you stop, the weight comes back. You never actually changed anything besides eating less of the same bad things. I wasn't interested in renting my results. I wanted to own them. That's why I chose Awaken 180. I needed a lifestyle change, I knew it, and I was excited about it. A medication-free path to long-term weight loss. That's exactly what I got. It's been 1.5 years since I dropped my 50 pounds, and I've kept it all off. Awaken 180 taught me how to adjust my approach to food. A real-time education on how to keep it off while losing the weight. I say, learn how to fish. It's easy, it's fast. And for the long-term bonus, no medications. Do what I did and choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken180weightloss.com, 844-346-1800.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
This just in, the NFL schedule has dropped, and you know what that means. It's go time. Adam Schefter here with the Insider Tip. If you're trying to catch your team live this season, Vivid Seats is the move. For the best selection of games and seats, it's time to snap your tickets up now. Vivid Seats has great deals on great seats and the only rewards program in the game. It's no wonder they're the official ticketing partner of ESPN. So don't wait. Head to vividseats.com or download the app and lock in those game days.
Evan Cohen here. It's time to turn things up a notch. This summer, don't binge watch shows. Binge s'mores by the campfire. Press pause on the podcast and press play on the warm weather vibes. Here's your chance to win $10,000 for your ultimate summer. What are you waiting for? Take your shot with 5-Hour Energy and make this summer your best summer ever. Visit 5heshot.com for full details and rules and to enter today. No purchase necessary. Ends June 30th, 2025.